of this garden. If you remove the weed, the flower and the garden will grow and it will look nice. Same thing, you have to remove all the negative effect from the children, the negative emotion from the children. But how is that to be done? Until and unless you give them a proper guidance or a path or a road map in front of them, where how to walk and where to reach, that is how it will be taking them to. And one fine day they get up and they see a lot of changes. Oh, my jeans have shrunk and I'm going longer. And then something is happening and that is how I'm not no more a kid. But it is very hard for them to accept that. And then they're trying to copy what adults, how adults do. Well, but then what they do, the adult idols are different. We are no more the idols for them now. Their idols are different as they look upon the other stars and the other strangers. They wanted to be like them, they like to be with them, and that is how they wanted to be always in the limelight. So, this is how you have to take care of the children when they literally grow from the kid to this age. This teenage is very crucial and very important. Like, we already had this when we went through our phases, these children are also having. So why don't we enjoy this phase with them? And that is how we can bring them back to us and train the way we wanted. It is not like we have to have a certain rules and regulation and you have to bombard them, and this is how you have to behave, this is how you have to act, this is how you have to walk, talk. No, you need to show them that yes, you are wanted the way you are, accept that, and then you can show them this. So that is how when I see the small group of the children moving in their own friends group, they don't like to be with the different. And then suddenly if they see some elders coming, they will say that yes, it is something they wanted to know what private things are going on, so they don't like to be coming inside their own private world. That is how we as an elder needs to demarcate that one, and we need to bring them to closer to us so that they get love from us, and they get uh, once they are out of it and we don't tag them, what happens is that if the tagging is done, then they have their own mental trauma. They go for the stress, and once they are in the stress, then they have a lot of things they can do it again. A lot of things, as in sense that where they will go and go for the stress busters. The stress buster, we as an educator, we have to show them that yes, your friends can be talking to your friends can be a stress buster. Doing exercise, yesterday we had a wonderful session. A yoga session was given, so brilliant it was. Going for the exercise, going for the meditation, going for the so this is how they will be stress
Yeah.
out. The
Miss Madam Kukreja,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. I think maybe we can come on this second round and actually talk about dealing with these things. Like
yeah,
right now, we just delved into the aspects that why a teenager is facing these kind of issues, which you explained with a very beautiful example. In fact, your opening example spoke everything. Like the beautiful example of the egg actually explained the teenage mind in such a beautiful manner. Now, I like to move on to Miss Sasha.
thank you so
Because
much.
as a teenager, when we were interacting, then as a teenager, Miss Sasha herself was very rebellious and she was very impulsive, and which actually led her to depression when she was at the age of 24. But then, with a positive mind and with a very strong desire to come back and resolve things in her life, she actually worked upon it. So my question to Miss Sasha is what actually went through, why you were, because you are actually now at the receiving side, so I really want you to go back the memory lane, enter in your teenage sphere where you were facing these kind of issues and where you were being very rebellious. So what actually made you behave like that? If we can just go back and deal about it.
Right. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. To your question, as a teenager, I remember I was very angry at the world. I was very angry specifically at my mom. And of course, everything is rooted in our childhood, in the way we are brought up, right? In my particular case, my parents divorced when I was 2 years old, and I spent a lot of years living with my grandparents. And I think a lot of the anger and resentment, and there was also a lot of lack of self-acceptance on my side. And I think all of that stems, not, I don't think, I did a lot of healing on my own. So I went back to the root causes. I did a lot of inner child work. And I know that a lot of that was coming from lack of receiving unconditional love from my parents, and also lack of acceptance from my parents, because they were extremely strict. They were always, I wanted to do one thing, my mom would tell me, no, you have to do that thing. Just to give you an example, when I was 8 or so, I wanted to go to a hip hop school in town, and my mom said no, and she signed me up for ballet, which I absolutely hated. And I did it for a year, and it was horrible. Like little things like that, throughout my childhood, I was constantly denied the things that I wanted. And that created a lot of anger inside of me. But also when I was trying to express my emotions, I was told not to cry. I was told to be a big girl. I was told things like that showing emotion is a sign of weakness, things like that. So I grew up learning to suppress my emotions instead of healthily releasing them and dealing with them, right? So after accumulating all of these emotions in myself for years, I became quite angry and aggressive as a teenager. I was still repressing a lot, but because I didn't find a way to express myself and to release everything, that eventually led me to being more and more bitter and more resentful in the world in general. And that led me to a depression. And a depression, in my opinion and my experience, is basically a complete disconnection from who you truly are. When you wear a mask or many masks for so long that you literally disconnect from your true self. And that's how I experienced it. I became this shell of a person, and I hated this shell. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. And I started hating this person. And that's how I started having suicidal thoughts. And it was really it was a horrible, horrible time. And I don't want anybody to go through this. And that's why I became a transformational coach, and I focus on releasing emotions, because that is what causes up to 95% of sicknesses these days. It's stress and emotions.
Wow, lovely. That's a great piece of insight that you've given us, Miss Sasha. Because when it comes to parents, we look things from parents' perspective. Then we always find that whatever they're doing, they're trying to do the best for the kids from their perspective. So maybe
Yeah,
your mother wants to send you to some other school because according to her, that would have been the best for you and would have made you a better individual. But but it was like absolutely opposite. It actually took you towards depression. It created so much of identity issues in you, so much of little lack of awareness can
yeah,
create so much of problem. Because if we actually go to your mother and we talk about these to her, I'm sure she will be in a state of shock, and she will say that like whatever I wanted to do was best for my child, and in my ignorance I don't know what we have done. So it's so important to have sessions like this where we can educate more and more parents and people around us. So thanks to this forum for coming up with these beautiful topic. And now my next question goes to Miss Sarah. When I was going through your profile, Miss Sarah, it's such an impressive profile. And there I read that whatever you are doing in your healing work, it's a lot with experiential learning, and you use your own experiences and help and use them for healing people. So I wanted to know, like, how was your experience as a teenager? Because you are dealing a lot with young minds. So how you dealt with your teenage phase, and what insights you got from that, if you could share something about that.
Thank you. And I've resonated so much with sort of what Sasha said, and very interesting sort of listening to the rest. I had trauma as a very, very young child. I was basically hospitalized and spent my first birthday in hospital. And we're talking 63 plus years ago. Parents weren't allowed to stay with their children. I saw my parents once a week for an hour in that period for 3 months. They know the damage, the emotional damage that does. So through my teenage, I have very, very few memories of my early life because I was such an unhappy child. So unhappy I became a people pleaser because I didn't feel wanted, loved, worthy, any of those things. But the most important thing, I think, with any child of any age, but especially teenagers, is listening to them. And as a teenager, we do not feel listened to. We forget, and we don't forget, we just don't know. We don't see our parents as teenagers. We don't think they know what we are going through. And because children and parents do not sit
Saying
down
the same thing.
and have a conversation and listen to each other, we children don't get to understand that actually, do you know what? Maybe our parents understand considerably more than we give them credit for. As a people pleaser, I just wanted to please everybody. What could I do that would make people happy? But there was never anything, what could I do that would make me happy? So my teenage years are an absolute blur for all the wrong reasons. But it just, the more I think about this, the more I delve into this, it's if only parents and children could find that time, that space, and if necessary, have a speaking stick or a talking stick or whatever they call it, that says only the individual holding it may talk. Because if we can do that, if we can truly support our young people with maybe even sharing some of our own experiences, because, you know, as has been said, parents have gone through this. Parents have had the experiences, but they are learned, for me, they are learned behaviors from the experiences that the parents had as children, that their parents had as children. And parents, sadly, because teenagers go into that aggression, that anger, that I'm not being listened to, they're right. They're not being listened to because the parents are just acting the way their parents acted to them. I know best for you, do what I tell you. There's no understanding shown. We're in different cultures and we've got people from all around the world, and this is brilliant. And maybe it is different in some cultures, but certainly within my own, being in the UK, a lot of what happens could be resolved by sitting down and having a conversation and an open honesty. Do you know what? I really remember what it was like at your age. And I'm sorry, because yes, I've been behaving the way I witnessed my parents treat me. It's time for a change. And it's a time for a change with many, many things in our world. And the way I feel we can best support our teenagers is to help them to feel listened to and heard.
Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. You actually hit the bullseye. Like we just discussed about the problem that Miss Sasha faced. Had her mother just had a heart-to-heart conversation with her that why you like a hip-hop school? What's so special about it? Should have actually got her inside, but she never bothered. She just thought that I know it all. I know it all.
I found out not long
Yeah, yeah.
ago that my mom's dream was to become a ballerina. So she was basically fulfilling her dream through me.
Imposing
And I
that
was
dream on you.
like, I am not a ballerina. No.
So my next question to Kukreja ma'am is, we discussed like the live issues. These are live issues coming from the horse's mouth. This is not what we are hearing, what we are reading in newspaper. These are real people talking about their real problem, and they have come out of it, and they're blossoming as coaches and healers now. So this is their problem. So what is the role of educator in partnering with parents in handling these issues? How can, like, educators educate parents as well?
Mm.
Because it's like a two-way thing that's going on.
Thank you, Dr. Sona. That was a wonderful question. And actually, I wanted to say, as Ms. Shasha and Ms. Chara had shared their own experience, and that is why they are actually excellent in their work, what they are doing now. Now, they have actually undergone those pain and that phase, and that is how they are now shining, and they wanted to give the best to the coming generation. These are the live experiences which you can share among the children. And once when we talk about the experience, we see that how the experience work upon the children. We need to discuss all these points so that they actually feel that yes, they are wanted. The time which the parent need to give, the failure, when the child comes with the failure, acceptance, yes, it is nothing wrong. You failed, again you will go for the success next time. There is always a next time. If the parent says this to the child, everything, half of the journey, half of the things is taken away, and then they feel so relaxed that yes, my parents are with me. And it is always, like I said, FOMO, that is the fear of being missing out, can be turned to joy of being missing out. It's better that we miss out this world, but when the parents give a quality time and quantity time with the children, and they discuss their problem, try to solve that problem, being with them and like them, they will understand that they the things on the table. If you behave exactly, if you feel the same as your child is feeling at the time, that will help the child, to come and speak out their problem. And there is always a solution for each and every problem on this earth. So the main thing is that we don't communicate. The problem is that we stop ourselves, that and we dictate that yes, we have to do this thing. But communication with love and care will definitely bring those children out with so many things they are having. And these children, they wanted to have a lot of power and lot of things. They wanted to have responsibility of taking their own decision, and they wanted to prove that they have done it. So when they wanted to do certain things, we have to give them a chance. No wonder once they will fail, twice they will fail, but again they will be doing something best. Like we have the two example in front of us. So this is what I as an educator, whenever this kind of situation or the parents are falling in different things, they come and discuss. Then there is always a solution. They said that it is that easy. I said yes, it is this easy. We need to actually converse with our child at least once in a day, or whenever you are having your meals with the child, you can discuss their problem. Otherwise, when you're walking, just strolling with the child, you can discuss. When we were having when our parents were there, we used to never share our things. We used to keep it within ourselves. But now they give them the time, give them the proper guidance, so that they can at least come up. Give them that coziness, give them that area that they should come and embrace you anytime. Don't give them the blockage or something like that, so that they cannot groom and they cannot bloom in that areas. That is how, as an educator, when they come, slowly the petals of the flower open. This is how you have to nurture the beautiful flowers. And tomorrow, the world is going to get a best citizen if we groom them properly. That is my say on this topic. And I have been guiding, I have been training so many children that sometimes they say that we cannot do it. Yes, you can do it. You can do it because everybody has got certain thing inside. You just need to have an ignite of that so that it flames. It flames, and you can see miracle happening. So this guidance, if you can give as an educator, or now if you see the families, it is a single family. They are the nuclear. We are all turning into nuclear family, where the parents are outside working. So the actually, as a principal and then as a teacher, I feel that the more responsibility is on us, that how we take care of the children. At least in this 7 hours or 8 hours, whenever they are with us, we should try to give everything whatever they deserve. That is that is what I wanted to say. And I'm so overwhelmed with this experience both of my panelists have shared. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful story of your own.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insights on. And I'm like really impressed when you just shared that now with the family shrinking and with this double income happening, like both parents moving out, you are taking the onus on you. Like you just shared that it is our main role. Like, you know, we need to, as educators, it is our main role. But still, I feel parents are parents. Yes, you are taking that role, and now like even my kids are in school, and I have seen schools changing. Like in my time, school used to be very different. Now schools are so loving, they are so compassionate. The
Yes.
teachers, like there is a whole environmental change that has happened now. Like, you know, schools are not the schools that used to happen in our time. Right now it's like a nurturing place. So yes, schools are playing a very important role, but then with this, the role of parents cannot be undermined under any circumstances. Even both of them are working, they are coming back home, they're not staying outside. And when they are coming back home, one commitment they should have with themselves is keep the work in their office. When they're at home, they are at home. Some kind of discipline they need to maintain. Otherwise, then why are you having children then? To have children was their choice. If you have them, then you have to take care of them. So like lovely, ma'am, like, you know, the kind of the educators now, the kind of responsibility that they're sharing in terms of parenting, that's really beautiful.
Thank you.
Now over to Miss Sasha. I would like to, I'm like actually very curious to know you shared that story about yours where you underwent so much of issues, and now what we see in front of us is such a fine lady, like, you know, all confident and just moving out in the world with full grace and dignity and helping everybody. So how this transformation happened in you, like, you know, from a rebellious and a very impulsive person, how you groomed yourself to, like, you know, helping out to others and like, you know, trying to reach out to people and helping them to take out the best from themselves. So how can you just share this bit of your journey? That will really help all of us.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Dr. Sonel. So my transformation started, I would say, when I quit my first job, which was, you know, well paid and approved by the parents and everything, but I was deeply unhappy in this job. And I quit the job and I thought, now I'm finally going to do what I love and, you know, find a job I like and be happy. Only to realize that I had no idea who I was or what I wanted. Because for so many years, like Sarah said, I spent people pleasing and doing what my parents wanted, doing what my husband wanted, doing what the society wanted. And then I came to a place like, okay, now I'm going to do what I want, but I didn't know what I wanted. So that was kind of the beginning of the deeper, the like more worst part of the depression, because I had like such an identity crisis and I didn't know who I was or what I was. And after going deeper and deeper into my depression and at some point becoming like feeling really bad, and I also developed insomnia and eating disorder, and I didn't get out of bed sometimes for the full day. And at some point I started having suicidal thoughts, and that's when I said, okay, this is really getting out of hand, and Sasha, you have to do something. So I just started Googling, like, how do I get out of depression, YouTubing, how do I heal myself, how do I do that? I did go to therapy for a few sessions, and I didn't really have a good connection with the person. I felt like she didn't understand what I was going through, and I didn't feel supported. So I stopped doing that, and I basically Googled what to do. And I started with very simple tools, meditation and journaling. So just meditating every day for 3 minutes and just journaling, writing out everything that's in my head. And after a month or so, I started noticing a little bit of progress. And basically, I just went full time into my personal development and spiritual development. I discovered my spiritual side. I started going more into that direction. And it took me about 4 to 5 years to like truly, fully get out of it and find self-love and self-acceptance and really find the unconditional love, which is something that the vast majority of population has no idea what it's like, because nobody has ever experienced it as kids. And unfortunately, we need to learn ourselves and discover ourselves what that feels like, because the only way you can give an unconditional love to someone, your child, your spouse, whoever, is if you have it for yourself, right? And so my transformation took me years. I wish I had the tools that I have today, but I would have them back then, because it would be much, much quicker. But at the same time, I realized that I was meant to do this path so that I could experience the whole thing, because now I know not exactly, but now I have an idea of what people are going through. So, and potentially that's why I didn't feel the connection with that therapist back then, because she didn't have the experience. Like, she knew the tools, she had her books, she had the theory, but she didn't have the experience, and I didn't feel that connection. So yeah, that's basically how I got myself out of it. And I was fired 2 years ago from my other job that was also not my favorite. And the whole pandemic thing happened, and I said to myself, I have accumulated so much knowledge and so much wisdom and so many tools and techniques. Like, how do I share it with the world now? And that's how I got into coaching. That's how I got into healing. And that's where I am today.
Wow, that's really amazing, and we all need to have one round of
Yeah.
applause for you. It's beautiful and very well said. Like, the therapists, like, the healers, who are not having that experiential learning, they are just trying to impose those bookish knowledge onto others. Like, for example, a counselor who himself is not a parent is trying to teach about, like, parenting to other parents. So won't happen. It won't happen. It's actually tough. You need to, like, walk the path, and this was actually your life agenda, your life goal, and through so many years of journey, you have finally reached there. You're absolutely there, and that's why that glow and shine is there on your face right now. The happiness, like, it's glow of happiness actually, and that is actually showing, because now you're doing what you love to do, what you
Mhm.
aspire for, what you're made for. That's the purpose of your life. You have taken birth to help others, and that's what you're doing. So wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful, really wonderful. And now I'm like really curious and inquisitive to know story of Miss Sarah, from that journey of pleasing others, how you have, like, transformed to what you are now. So if you could share your bit, your journey, because nothing is more important, more special than real experiences. Otherwise, the moment we Google, we'll get thousands and thousands of sites which has got all the research and history and biological details and everything. But when we listen to real stories and how you revived in your own life, then nothing can motivate you better than this. Then, so we would like to now know your bit, how you transformed yourself.
Thank you so much. And I resonate so much with what sort of Sasha was saying. I like to call it a wake-up call. My wake-up call came in the form of a broken jaw. The dentist broke it while extracting a wisdom tooth.
Oh my
And I
God.
didn't actually know it was broken for a week. And that resulted in 6 months of pain and sleepless nights. So just dipping back into what happened to me as a baby, I got scalded by a boiling milk coffee that went all over my face, down my neck, and the jumper stuck to my skin. This was all about face again. But it was that 6 months of pain and sleepless nights from the jaw. And I hadn't got the energy anymore to work full time, run a home, study accountancy, and be a people pleaser. I just couldn't do it. I hadn't got the energy. And a load of stuff went. The studying went. The people pleasing went. And actually, so did the marriage go. Eventually. But it was that day standing in the kitchen at home where I suddenly thought, why am I worrying what other people think about me when they're not? We go into people-pleasing mode because we've got this almost insane fear that people are thinking about us and judging us. And they're not. They're worrying about what's going on in their own life. And it was such an uplift of, what a relief. I can stop worrying about what other people are thinking about me. I did go to a psychotherapist for a while because I wished to understand why I had reacted and behaved in the way I had. And I was very lucky. She had experiences. And, you know, sort of, I talked to my mother after one session and mum just didn't seem to understand. And she said, your mother hasn't got to understand. She loves you anyway. And I thought, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not for anybody else to understand. It's about us understanding our own life. And as Sasha very much said, about loving ourselves. And we're not taught to love ourselves. And I think that could come from those conversations with our parents as a youngster, as a teenager, supporting us to realize that, yes, we are important, but we're no more than important, no more special than anybody else in this world. And that would also help us to treat people better, treat ourselves better and treat others better, because we're all special in our own unique way. And I was looking for what can I do to help me. Very much as Sasha, I wasn't looking for what others could do for me. And I thought, well, I can't learn massage because you can't exactly massage yourself. But then Reiki came, the beautiful energy of the universal healing energy. And I was told the first person you treat when you learn and do level 1 is yourself. That's where it all started. And that was the catalyst for helping me to move forward with everything I do, working with sound energy and working with name has been proved so powerful, not just for me, but for the people that I work with. You know, and any teenager, any parent, do you know what? Our abiding memories of our name are usually very negative. Have you done this? Have you done this? That? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done? Go and do that. And it's just a negative memory of our name. There's been lots of loving use of our name, but human beings are very good at remembering the negative. And I find when I work with people's name, because the energy that comes through is love, is an acknowledgement of the whole of who you are. And I've had people say, I really like my name now. I've had others who've changed their name who said, I'm going back. I now feel comfortable with it. It's feeling comfortable with ourselves.
Thank you, Miss Sarah, for giving this perspective towards name. Yes, now when I'm like thinking about myself, when I'm thinking about very close people around me, I can actually connect to it. I can actually connect to it. It's really beautiful. And now, my next last round of we are in the last round, and I am actually enjoying it so much. I really wish it can continue for more time. So, Miss Madam Kukreja, I would like to know, you have got a very rich experience, like more than 20 years of experience in the field of education. So, I would like to know how the teenage mind is changing over the years, like, in the current scenario, vis-a-vis it was like a decade back or 2 decades back, how things are changing, because that will actually give us a perspective of the future. Like, what is the way forward? So if you could just, like, throw some light on that.
Okay, there's one case study in our school when we were there. I'll just share that case study so you can understand that. The case study goes like that: the child belongs to a very conservative family, and this child has these two fingers joined, both the fingers joined. He cannot. He cannot move the fingers independently, and this child has half of the nose from here. It was cut, and everybody used to tease him throughout his through his teenage till he was in 10th standard. Everybody, every now and then, he used to come running. The one day I said, come here, you are very beautiful and you can do everything on this earth. Nothing is there that you cannot do it. No, my parents said that can only be, I can only take care of my temple, which is there, and that is what they are expecting me. I said, no, you are still, I have a lot of faith in you, and you can do a lot of, you can become a good human being, and that is how every day he used to study. He was very good in studies. And gradually, slowly, when he said, and he overcome all this emotion, these feelings of anxiety, depression, and other things, he just overcome that. And gradually, he became so confident. He was communicating properly. He was confident on the stage. He was very expressive. And then he expressed one day that when the result came of the 10th standard, you would believe that this child was, district topper, and everybody was so happy for him. And he just came and said, ma'am, it is because of you that you have been training. So at the time I felt that we could do so much of things by just communicating. Nowadays we are not the role models anymore, neither the parents nor we as an educator. They are having the role models outside, that is on the social media. And that is where we need to come with the proper parenting partnership with the parent, that we should come together and bring this children out from this media. And media, they wanted to be in the sight, always wanted to be visible there, and we have to bring them to us back. That is, it is okay that we you are not there, in there's no, like, come, we can go together, we can do so many things. So there, the awareness among the parents should be there from the educators side, educational world, as well as both of them can do, because half of the time they're with us, half of the time they're at home. So what care we should take each other, and then we could nurture these children, that is very important. And this is how we can, positive thoughts and positive ideas and positive approach only can make these changes. And when these children will overcome all these things, when they're coming to us, they'll be very clear in what they wanted. They have to set their plan. Goal setting is very important. Believe in their goal setting, whatever they have done. Then even if they want certain, they will come to you that, yes, certain way, this is the place where I want their help. So you are there always, you as an educator in the school, and parents at home to guide you. And this is how we can, bring out our children in such a world that, yes, they are now ready to face the challenges outside. So world outside, there are a lot of challenges, and then now we are going ahead with the 21st century skills, which will train them to how to make their stand on their feet. We don't want, they should always be crying and coming to us. No, they have to be strong enough, they have to be confident enough to fight for themselves. As they wanted to, they should have a strong stability on their own footstep, and then they have to make their own identity. And that is why we are not just a, pusher of that. We should be facilitator, not the dictator of the life. We are just
Wonderful.
we are just
Very,
thank you, ma'am. So there's a
absolutely, very well said, ma'am. Uh, that the role models earlier were like, we parents, the educators around us, but now the role models are the social media. So with lot of love, a lot of encouragement, lot of positivity, we need to have create that bonding with our children as educators, as parents, because role models is social media, and it is going to be all the more in times to come. So we need to like create a parallel force. We can't ignore social media, we can't ignore the peer pressures, we can't ignore all the gimmicks that is happening around us, that will have a very strong influence on the teenage mind. It is having, and it will have all the more. But if we create a parallel channel with them, so every time they get some input here, they will cross check here, and like together things will go on. So very beautifully you have like actually given us a roadmap, like what as a parents, as educators, what we should do. And now I want to move on to Miss Sasha very quickly, because we are almost like nearing the closing time. When you were talking, you spoke about your process practices. You said that had I known that before, things would have been easier for me. So can you quickly give us an insight on the process practices that you use for your like healing modalities?
Right. So the majority of the practices that I use are focused on releasing the emotion from the body. So releasing trapped emotions, addressing the past trauma, and releasing any emotion around that. Because what happens when we experience a trauma, some event happens, right? And the way we perceive it is what makes it either traumatic or not traumatic. And if we're not able to process the emotion in the moment properly, and we're not able to express it or somehow release it, then it gets stuck in the body, in the nervous system. And it may get stuck there for our entire life. And at some point, this emotion can start growing, especially if we keep accumulating the same emotions like anger or sadness or hurt. And these emotions, they're energy. They can turn into an illness down the road. And actually, up to 90% of all illnesses are like emotion-based, and that's already proven by epigenetics and biology. So my main work, I use tools like neurolinguistic programming a lot, where we use a lot of language patterns and meditations, and working with the subconscious mind a lot, timeline therapy, things like that. But I also use a lot of specifically emotion healing modalities, somatic therapy, emotional freedom technique, things like that. And I found in my work that I work with both the mindset and the emotions, the emotional set, right? And I found that working with the limiting beliefs and the subconscious programming is extremely powerful, but working with the emotions is way more powerful than that, because by releasing one trapped emotion, you can release a lot of limiting beliefs from the mind. So my heavy focus is on working with the emotions, of course, and helping release that. Because honestly, once the emotion is gone, you're no longer triggered. Whatever happens, you're no longer triggered. When I've done this work with myself, I became like, these days, nothing triggers me except maybe my own thoughts sometimes. But external events, it's very, very rare that I get like any reaction to anything, because I just released all of that anger from me. I don't have any more anger, and it's amazing. Like, this inner peace is amazing, really.
Super duper, super duper. Seriously, very truly said. All the problems that is happening and we are facing is because of the retention of unwanted emotions, which we keep retaining in us, suppressing in us. So we need to have release mechanisms. If we have got lovely parents, lovely friends, lovely, like, people around us with whom we can just release it by talking, then nothing can be like, mm,
Yeah.
better than that. But
And
yes, like, the modalities that you're using in helping releasing those emotions is something which is like you're actually working at the grassroots level. That is
yes,
where the
yeah,
problem, the real
exactly.
problem lies. And if that gets corrected, it's corrected forever. In Hinduism, we actually call it karmas. Like, these
Mm,
emotions, these are actually our
yeah.
karmas which are blocked. And we need to release those blockages. Now,
And
I
it's
would like to come to Miss Sarah. Uh, like you work a lot with the young minds. I read in your profile that you're working a lot with the young minds and helping them release their emotions, heal them. So how do you connect with them? Because there's a considerable, like, age gap. Like you just shared that 63 years back, like, you were a small baby. So there is a gap. So, and there is a change in mind. So how are you connecting with that mind? Because that will actually help, like, parents and grandparents to connect with their children, like, because you are connecting with them. So how you are connecting with them will give us a guidance to us also. Because right now the major problem that we are facing with our children, like my son is just 10-year-old, but at times with a 10-year-old child also, at times I am feeling a strong generation gap happening, a very strong gap happening. So we need to have ways by which we can actually move down. They will never move up. We need to move down to their level. So how you achieve that, I would like, I'm really very curious to know that.
Okay, I connect with the inner child. So, we're talking very much as Sasha does. And yes, being able to go back to the inner child. And I mentioned name, working with sound, working with toning. So it's the use of the voice, but not singing. And the name is one of the most powerful aspects of this work. And being able to get to a deep cellular memory level and working with different people, I've actually got back to almost preconception. Because what we have to realize with some people is if their mother is raped and they are a result of a rape, then they have the trauma of the mother. And so it can go back, we can go back to birth, even during the pregnancy, because any traumas that the mother experiences during the pregnancy, that little one has as well. How far back can we go? And I stay within this lifetime. I don't tend to go back beyond that. But it's not about revisiting what happens. It's about the emotions. It's about connecting with the child of whatever age. And so that could be you of this morning. It really could, because it's all our younger self. It's connecting with that younger self and how they are feeling at that point in time. Not what happened, just the feelings that it is brought up within them. And helping them to, and it's about then you as the adult being there for them. Now, I cannot remember this quote perfectly. Alice Little, as a traumatized child, we are waiting for that knight in shining armor. What we didn't understand was that it would be us as an adult. The only person who can heal you is you. As you become understanding of, and the adult understands what has happened in life, and that understanding of circumstances out of parents' control, understanding that parents have learned from their own parents' behaviors, though all those type of things, when you understand that as an adult, just holding that understanding as the adult can really support the child without necessarily any words. As I said, we struggle with feeling we've been listened to and heard. By being there for our younger self, and that younger self feeling listened to, heard, loved, feeling the connection with ourself, we can help to heal that. And it can also help us as an adult with children.
Wow. Wow. So it's not the fact we are connecting to, it's not the age we are connecting to. It's the feeling and the emotion, and the feeling and the emotions are universal. Is it is life in a newborn baby, it's life in your childhood, it's life when you're as a teenager, as well as when you're adult and your old age. Feelings are universal, and we have to work at the level of feeling and emotion, and not disregarding it with respect to age, that oh, you're a small baby, what will you understand. That's actually the factual bit. We need to work at the emotion, that okay, this small baby is also having emotions, so let's connect to that. So wonderful. So the takeaway that we just got from Miss Sarah, as parents and grandparents, that start connecting with the emotion of your child. Don't disregard any emotion that is happening, with the perspective that the child is small, what he will understand. It might be so that the child is not understanding, the child is having his own created world, but in that world he's having those emotions. So connect with the emotion, and the more you will connect with his emotion, he will connect with you, and maybe at some point of time will come to a common point. So amazing. This was uh, an amazing session. I don't know about the audience, but yes, for me as a parent, I have so many takeaways. Like, every time as a parent, you keep struggling with a lot of issues for your children, that, oh, how to handle this, how to handle that. And from this session, I'm so blessed that I got the chance to conduct, because this actually helped me to take care of my own self as well as for my children. And some of the beautiful takeaways which I just like to reiterate is, most important is bonding with parents. Because parents are the first teachers. Even before they go to primary school, they go to wonderful teachers, wonderful principal like Madam Kukreja. The first teachers are the parents. So the first building of the brain and the mind and the feelings and the emotion is done by the parents. So the bonding with the parents is really, really important. That's the first bit. Second is listening. Listening with the open mind, listening with the open heart, and listening to the feelings and not the words and not the facts. Listening with mind and heart to the feelings. Empathizing, going into their shoes. That Miss Sasha wanted to learn hip hop. Her mother had some other desire. She's actually forcing her to come to her shoe. Rather, she should have moved to Miss Sasha's shoes. Things would have been really different for her childhood. And then, last but not the least, the external locus of control that is increasing so much with respect to social media. We need to help our teenagers to move inward towards the internal locus of control. And that can only happen if we start becoming friends with them, rather than parent, where we are guiding, where we think that we are authoritative, where we think that we know it all. Rather than that, if we can just go parallel with them like friends, then maybe the whole scenario will be very, very different. Thank you so much to all my panelists. You were like just superb. You were too good, and you all had brought so many different varied perspective to this particular session. Thank you so much. And with these words, over to Jagrati ma'am
Thank you.
to
Thank
take it
you.
forward.
Thank you. It
you.
was
Thank you,
really
ma'am.
amazing session. And it was an insightful session, I would say, really. Because, there are so many takeaways even for me also, you see. And today, what I am feeling is like this forum, today has become like, it is almost there, but like today I feel that this forum is a storehouse of knowledge, and knowledge is spread to all worldwide. So really, this words of wisdom by all the panelists has provided a plethora of knowledge, for school wellness, teenage mind, and their emotional issues. Okay, I definitely believe that we should become friends, but like at the same time, being the edupreneur, this is my opinion. That I feel that there should always be a this far and no further attitude with the children. Sometimes what happens when we become very friendly to them, I have seen that, they don't trust us. They just take us as a friend, and they don't even.
I would just like to start with, like, go back to the example that our esteemed principal ma'am started a session with, the situation of egg.
I
That's
know.
the
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
So we are actually concluding the session with the picnic with the same example.
I know. Okay. So, see, this was my, perspective. What I believe is that besides all this, like, today's youth are, however, not a happy lot. Like, they have lots of tensions. Like, for despite their endowments, their peers and parents expect too much from them. This makes them stretch beyond their capacity. So when I was listening to Sarah Jain, I could, realize this thing, that sometimes it really happens when your parent expect too much from you and do not let you do what you actually want to do. So there is at times, that leads to psychological disturbances and frustrations. This makes them vulnerable to get easily misguided. Notwithstanding these disadvantages, one still can have a better time with proper guidance and knowledge. As our panelists have said, we should look from their perspective as well. They should be given awareness and they should be trusted. Teenagers, being young, are really more enthusiastic and optimistic by nature. So hence it happens. So they are prone to taking decisions in a haste. The wealth of youth is priceless indeed. Here, I would just like to quote William Shakespeare when he said, "All the world a stage, and all men and women are mere players. They have their exit and entrances, and one man in his lifetime plays many parts. But it is unfortunate, however, that in this play of life, right, the part of youth, right, has no retake at all. So let us all, with what our moderator, our panelists have said, let the youth live their part truly and sincerely. I guess this is what has been focused by our moderators and panelists. I'm so gratified, from the core of my heart, to having you all, as a speaker and panelist and, a moderator. I'm thankful to all of you. Let us all, dear ladies and gentlemen, please give all of them a big round of applause for such an amazing and insightful session, wonderful session. This should not go without having them honored. So let us all have the certificate of honor. So Mamta madam, please take over the stage. Okay, so here we have the certificate of honor to Sasha Tarasova. Congratulations, madam. Please clap. Then we have Sarah Jain. Congratulations, Sarah Jain. Then Monica Kukreja, ma'am. Congratulations. And now our moderator, Dr. Sonal Jain Jaswal. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. This was indeed a pleasure to me, actually. So now, last but not the least, we taking this session ahead, we have with us Mrs. Kirtila Ram, who will display to us a presentation on the topic effect of disability on children's health and well-being. Well, this is a big problem with the children who are differently able. I call them differently able because I believe that none of us are disabled. But only thing is that, yes, we are differently abled. And the problem is that no school mostly take up these children. Like, this is what I have seen. So the problem with them becomes a Hercule's task for the parents, for everyone. But if we have an enlightenment on how can we make them more able, I guess we can have a better world. And Mrs. Kirtilal Ram is going to present a presentation on this. So, but before her presentation, let me introduce Mrs. Kirtilal to you all. She is the founder director of the SSR Disability Services Center in Mauritius, providing a quality education to the children with disabilities. She works on programs to cater for their well-being and to improve their lifestyles. She is also the African coordinator of BPO International, working to bring the people of Indian origin together. Mrs. Ram has been the governor of the University of Technology of Mauritius and the senior advisor to the former Prime Minister of Mauritius. Wow, such an impressive persona, Mrs. Kirtilal Ram. Well, I'm certain, and I know it very well that your expertise on the topic would provide us more light and would definitely guide us, know how to deal with the differently able children. So over to you, madam. Please give a big round of applause to Ms. Kirtilal Ram.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So really very happy to be here and connected with you all wonderful people, and from nearly 20 countries since yesterday. And all the participants, the moderators, panelists, the speakers, presentators. So a very good, warm welcome to you all today. I'm from Mauritius, as you have just mentioned. So my topic will be on the disability affecting the health and lifestyle of what we are doing in the school. As you all know, disability, the term disability itself refers to a wide range of conditions that in some way limit people's ability to manage their everyday life and living. Different disabilities in school are grouped in various categories: intellectual disabilities, learning disabilities, sensory and speech disabilities, or physical disabilities. You all know children with disabilities are very often or sometimes seen as different by other children. We can say that the children, they try to be excluded from play or peer relationships and experiences of social isolation in school. Such experiences in isolation and exclusion are common contributors to children's mental health difficulties. We have heard about the mental problem that they do face. And having disabilities of these children in school that we cater from 5 years old to 40, I will say children, 40 years old, adult, but there are still children in our school. They, they have a limit on what children can do, limit their participation in some activities that their friends can do. Very often their activities are limited. And we find also children with disabilities suffer from emotional problems. Since yesterday, I have learned a lot of things on these emotional problems and how to deal with them. It's a great advantage for me today, I can see. And also we see that disabilities, places the children, they are impacted on the child or adolescent development. Their development are impacted. And they come with this, disturbed behavior. On social participation, there is this, they don't want to participate. And more so, you have this barrier coming more by parents. They don't, when you say there is an activity, something, but the parents will come first to say, no, my child cannot participate. There is this social barrier, on the children participation in school. And also we have this limit, on people's social relationship. Some people, they view it as, it's a taboo to talk to people having a disability. And this social relationship is also, these children, they have a limit on this also. And what happens when all these problems get on? There is a social isolation. you know, they isolate from all the, from the children who have a disability, and having more difficulty in the home also. Not only in school, there is this isolation, but also in home also, as compared to the other, you know, siblings in the home, brothers and sisters also, they have this difficulty at home also. We have seen it at school. And students with disabilities, you will see, they experience emotional distress related to their difficulties. There are so many difficulties that happen to them. We have listened to most of our presenters, our speakers, about the difficulties that they face. And not only the, children with disabilities, but others also face certain difficulties on the emotional, physical aspect. And children with disabilities, you know, they tend to have higher level of emotional concern, such as depression, loneliness. They like to remain, you know, in a corner, not talking to anyone, not communicating with teachers, with others, with other peers in the classroom. So they can, you know, they have to be in a corner to remain there, and it's our duty to go to talk to them. And then there's this so self-esteem, you know, the emotional concern about very low self-esteem of themselves. And as they grow, they become mature, but still, you know, they have this, you know, self-esteem problem is with them. Oh, I'm not, you know, I'm not just like my friend. I'm not like them. They are talking, they are communicating, they are participating in so many activities. But why not me? This problem is there. And, you know, there is this also effects on their development, learning and behavior. Development affect them. Their learning also affect, the disability affect the learning and their behavior as they grow. We have seen it, and we are working on it in order to erase, as we say, all these problems in these children, to make them grow, as you know. We have, I always believe as an educator, you know, in what Rousseau, the philosophy and concept of his education, where he says that he says that naturalism is very important for a child to grow. According to him, he says that education is the natural development of the child's inner faculties and powers. He believed that education is the development from within, and not an imposition from without. I have just heard Sarah Jane also talked about this, where it's not only from without, it's also from within. So all these children, they suffer from certain with disability, and also with certain things in the environment, in the emotion, and the physical aspect also. So these children, as I say, have certain challenges of physical disabilities in children also, as we say, in adolescents. These disabilities interfere with their ability to get an education, intelligence, the basic skills, you know, and more so, you know, when they come to school, basic skills like, you know, brushing teeth, toileting, and so on. It interferes, you know, disability interfere with these children, the basic skill. And not only, you know, parents, but not only teachers also, but parents also have to look upon these things. And also we have interactive effectively with peers. There is social adjustment also, which is very important to do. And there is this physical disabilities which interact effectively with them, how to adjust with their friends, how to adjust with the public, how to adjust in the community. It's there. So they have to find a way, you know, when we think of leaving the school, to stand on their feet. All what we do, we say that education, the purpose of education, we put it in our mind, you know, that the purpose of education is to see them standing on their feet when leaving the school. So, but sometimes what we do with these children having disability, can we make them standing on their feet? How to cope with it, even on their wheelchairs? How are they going to go, on to be employed later? So all the things we look into at the school. And then we also make them to become independent of parents, relatives, or group. Here I have one child, which I have in my mind, coming to the school at the age of 13 years old, but is still, putting their, the diapers coming to his school. And our first question was with the parent that what have you done so that the child is still coming to his school with a diaper? Haven't you teach the child now to come to be independent, to free herself with this diaper? He said, the parent told us, no, it's very, very difficult to do that. But what happened when the child come to his school with the teachers who are there in the school, is starting with the, the basic skill of toileting, brushing teeth, and so on. And I can say it's amazing to see that the child, 13 years old, after only 12 days, is starting, putting the diapers off and coming to his school without a diaper. So only 12 days in his school, erasing this factor of wearing a diaper since she is born to 13 years old. So becoming independent, is very important also for us, keeping this in mind when we are working with our children. You will see from some of the photos how the children, they are doing the, gardening, and so everything, gardening, planting, watering their plants, becoming independent, coming up on their feet. And even in the first photo, they were in India, performing, in Lucknow for the quality education circle there, performing there on the dais, having more than 2,000 spectators there. So we put a lot of emphasis on the, becoming independent or to stand on their feet, independent, free, no parent, no teachers on explaining to them what we are expecting to do. And in a school where we talk a lot about education, it's challenging, in getting an education for this child. What do we have? Well, when I started the school in 2006, it was a big problem for us. In the, Mauritius is small, yes, but we have 9 districts, but we form parts of the northern region. But in the northern region, there was no school for the children with a disability where they will go. They had to go to the, to the center, to the capital of Mauritius, to go to a school where they had to pay for the travel, pay for the school, and so on. And in my survey, when I did it with the children, with the parents in the north, and the children with disabilities come mainly from the vulnerable and poor people, poverty. There is this poverty circle were there. So it was a school far off for them to go to a school, and they couldn't go to a school to have a proper education. So coming with this in my mind, I set up this school, and my school is free, nothing to pay for the education. And we also give a lunch and breakfast to our children, so that they can, come to the school every day without any barrier. Their parents do not think about the poverty and so on, sending their children to a school and having nothing in mind about paying school, paying for the lunch and breakfast. So next we'll talk about the lunch and so on for their health. And then another problem also which we had is that, with disability,
Okay. Hello. Yeah. Am I audible, Mamta? Well, the problem that every disabled child was facing, you have really found out the solution very, very well. And I would just like to extend my vote of thanks. And Kirtilata ma'am, you have really given us a good insight and also the solutions so that we can deal with the children and we can make them confident and we can nurture them very, very well. So thank you very much, Kirtilata ma'am. It was really an amazing thing. Now I would like Mamta Chauhan to please provide the certificate of honor to Mrs. Kirtilal Ram. Meanwhile, if I could ask Mrs. Dhanashri, are you there, Dhanashri?
I think there was a cut in electricity. I don't know what happened. I had to switch on my mobile.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Its laptop is closed, it's shut down. So, and there was the problem of, children taking medication, which is, some parents think about taking medication also is a big problem. And is it okay?
Actually, ma'am, the time is get over. So if you could just wrap up.
Oh, okay, okay. So to conclude, I would like to say that, we at the Disability Service Center, we have a lot to do with these children, affects their health and lifestyle. But hearing all these speakers today, I have learned a lot how to handle these children and to see that to take better care of their health and wellness is very important. And having a disability does not mean a person is not healthy or that cannot be healthy. Being healthy means the same thing for all of us, getting and staying well so that we can lead a full and active lives. Our children with a disability are beautiful flowers in our beautiful garden. So we'll have to nurture them to make them become a citizen of tomorrow so that they can stand on their feet, make them strong enough to bear the strong wind, the sunshine, the storm coming on. So thank you a lot. I don't know what happened today with this. And I'm really very thankful to Dr. Surendra Das and to the whole team of Global Wellness Summit. Thank you. We can arriver now.
Thank you, ma'am. Please put a big round of applause to ma'am. It was really a very insightful session. Thank you, ma'am. It has really given us a lot of ideas, right? How to deal with these types of children. And we really want you to honor. So now, Mamta Chauhan, yes. Congratulations, Kirtilata ma'am. This is the certificate of honor. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome
much.
always.
Maybe I can
Thank you
send
very
the slides that I have. Maybe I can send the slides that I have prepared for this.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So sorry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. You can always share these slides to sir, and you can also, like, sir can share to all. So it is really good to have it. But as the time is for the next session, so now I would like Dhanashri madam also to come. But before her, I would just like to propose the vote of thanks to all. So it's my privilege to give you thanks to all of you, because the session that it has been, it is really a wonderful session, and I'm really delighted to host this program. And I would also like to extend a warm vote of gratitude to Dr. Surendra Das sir, because he has given this opportunity to me, and I'm really thankful to you, sir, and also to the moderator, Sonal Jain Jaswal, Sunita madam, and the Gopalakrishnan, and all the panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this storehouse of knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Dhanashri, can I have you for the next session? I would like to invite Dhanashri Borikar. Yes, yes, I can see her
Yes.
smiling.
Thank you,
How are
Jagruti.
you?
I'm fine. I
Now,
hope I'm audible to all. Yes. I hope I'm audible to all.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Vyayamaat labhate. Thank you. Vyayamaat labhate swasthya, dirghayusham balam sukham, arogyam paramam bhagyam, swasthyam sarvartha sadhanam. Means health is the biggest wealth in one's life. It is the only thing with which all the other things can be achieved in life. With exercise, one can achieve perfect health, happiness, longevity, and strength. Namaste and warm welcome to all the dignitaries and participants in the second session of Day 2 of Global Wellness Summit 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all together since yesterday and learning how to maintain our wellness. In today's context, this Global Wellness Summit 2022 after pandemic is of great importance. Many people are facing issues related to their social, mental, physical, environmental wellness and require guidance, counseling, and support to solve their issues. In this session, we will be enlightened on environmental wellness. Dear friends, for this, we have eminent personality with us as keynote speaker, Professor Dr. S.B. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Millennium University, Republic of Malawi. Sir has done doctorate in 2 subjects, one in zoology and the other in education. Sir is an administrator, educational psychologist, philanthropist, author, motivational speaker, certified yoga, mindfulness, and spiritual energy healer. He has proved equally well-organized and proficient administrator for more than 26 years in educational administration on various key positions. He has also been chief editor of reputed journals with ISSN. He has been invited as academic expert by NCERT, IGNOU, CSTT. He has authored various research papers in journals of national and international repute, articles on social, educational issues in magazines, and wrote letters to editors of national newspapers. Sir has been conferred with various awards like National Innovative Teacher Award, Outstanding Leadership Award, Professional Commitment Award, Flame of Science Award by national and international educational research and social organizations. Sir will be addressing us on the topic environmental wellness, a need of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Sir Professor Dr. S.B. Sharma. Sir, you are provided 30 minutes for your address. 5 minutes before, we'll be giving a beep sound as an alarm, and further question answer session will be conducted.
Ma'am,
Sir,
you
may
are
I request you?
requested, please give me the permission to share the screen.
Yes, sir. Mamta, Abhishek, sir, please see that he should be in a position to share his screen.
Yes, ma'am. It's
Sir,
done.
the platform is yours. Please.
It's done, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And my PPT is visible?
Yes, yes. PPT is also visible.
Okay. So first of all, should I start? Please mute the mic of the audience. Please mute the mic because a lot of disturbances I'm receiving. Please mute the mic. Okay. Should I start?
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you so much for introducing me. It's my pleasure and privilege today to be here with all of you. A very good afternoon from Malawi and very good evening from India. I'm highly thankful to Dr. Surinder Das ji, convener of this summit from India, and his very energetic team, specifically Dr. Yolanda Peterson, co-convener from South Africa, and Mr. Paul Smith, co-convener from United Kingdom, to give me this opportunity to present my humble views in front of today's chief guest, Dr. Anirudh Gupta, CEO of the DCM Group of School, Firozpur, Punjab. Other prominent educators, wellness coaches, counselors, psychologists, environmentalists, dignitaries, and delegates, and all my dear friends and colleagues. Before proceedings further, I would like,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Sir, you are not visible, sir. Your video is not seen, sir.
is
Hello.
on. My video is on. My video is on.
But we are not able to see, sir.
Should I reconnect?
Sure, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is little a technical glitch. We'll be joining back again. Please bear with us. I
Now
would
I'm
like
visible.
to.
Now I'm visible. Hello.
Just a minute, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm visible.
No, sir, but sir, you continue, sir.
Okay.
I think there may be a bandwidth problem, internet bandwidth problem, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So before proceeding further, I would like to appreciate the convener for organizing this summit on the very significant and most relevant topic of wellness education. Environmental wellness, a need of the hour. I am Professor Dr. S.P. Sharma, Vice Chancellor, Millennium University, Blantyre, Republic of Malawi. First thing I just want to tell you, I will not deliver a lecture. I will just discuss, and the purpose of this presentation is just to develop the sensitization towards the wellness, towards the environment. Because the ultimate purpose of this presentation is, an ultimate purpose of the program is just to develop the sensitization. Dear friends, wellness is a comprehensive term which includes a dynamic process of becoming aware of one's own surrounding and making healthy and fulfilling choices. This is very important thing. And you know, environment is a very wide term, it's a very wide aspect. There are so many types of environment. And when we talk about the environment wellness, that means we must aware of what type of environment is we have. And according to World Health Organization, wellness is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Remember, if you are physically, mentally, and socially well-being, you're completely well-being in all the aspects, then you can do whatever you want. So it is very much essential that your environment must be clean, green, positive, highly energetic, thought-provoking, and eco-friendly. So we must understand all these aspects, how these things matter. You know, we need develop environmental consciousness. Environmental consciousness means how much love, how much affection, how much attraction we have towards our environment. Environment wellness is the way we keep our surroundings clean, green, positively vibrant, highly energetic through the provoking eco-friendly. And the most important thing is you observe in your daily life. You always appreciate the beautiful environment. Have you observed when you visit the hilly stations, you always say, oh, what a beautiful environment is, what a beautiful surroundings is. But the important thing is the consciousness, how we develop this consciousness. When we organize such type of programs, our target is to effective implementation. If we effectively implement such type of things, then the purpose of organizing such type of programs will fulfill. So the consciousness towards the environment means we should have respect, kindness, and compassion towards the environment. The important question, are they conscious towards the environment? So the maintain its beauty, cleanliness, and energy. Suppose you are enjoying the beauty of the environment, then the question is, what is your contribution to maintain the environment beautiful? When we become environmental conscious, then we should develop all these things in our daily life, daily habits, thought process, and aura of body, mind, and soul affect our surroundings as well. It sensitizes us towards nature. So the important thing, we should sensitize towards the nature. If we have love towards the nature, care towards the nature. In our routine life, we should ask what is our contribution in day-to-day life to make the environment beautiful. The world is going through very unsettled times. National and international bodies are cooperating on various platforms to overcome multiple crises. You know, long back, our ex-president Dr. APJ Kalam, the Earth is the only livable planet in our solar system. His particular relevance, humanity is duty bound to protect and preserve the Earth. All human beings are responsible to preserve and protect the Earth. And it is only possible when we have the consciousness, we have the affection, we have the attachment towards the environment, towards the Earth, and important aspects of our life. But I want to just quote one example. Greta Thunberg, a young Swedish climate protective activist, is known globally for her courage, especially when it comes to matter of environment. You know what was the unique in her work? Her activism started from her home when she convinced her parents to make our change in the lifestyle to use sustainable product from reusable bags to eco-friendly bags more and reduce their carbon footprint. As I told you, the most important thing is implementation and practical approach. How we practically approach the things. When we talk a lot, but implementation is zero, then no result will come. So it is necessary, we should implement the thing. Sensitization towards the planet Earth is required on the part of our young generation. We should teach how we can protect the environment. We should teach how we can love the plants, how we can love the animals like our own children. If we will have the affection, then we can save the environment, and then our environment will be very beautiful. And this beautiful environment will be very important for our development, for our wellness. You know, the Earth is the most powerful energetic planet. So it is necessary being consciousness. Environmental wellness includes social environment also. I just want to tell you this social environment is very important. If social environment will not be important, will not be good, then our development will affect it. I have seen many people, they are physically good, mentally good, but they are not spiritually good. If they are not spiritually good, then they will not contribute their valuable things to the society. So we must learn from nature. The power of giving is more powerful than power of taking. Dear friends, learn from nature. If we will develop this habit to giving, then we will be spiritually strong, socially well-being. It is necessary to help the people. We should have the spiritual energy. We should avoid all negative type of things. So this consciousness towards the nature and this planet means having respect, kindness, compassion towards the nature and species living in it. Now, as you can see here, the source of positive energy. How our energy matters for healthy surroundings. Scientific fact, everything in the universe is one or other form of energy. You know, our body always emit amount of energy, and our body absorb different amount of energy. So it is depend what type of energy we are receiving. Why we feel more comfortable in hilly stations, why we feel more comfortable in natural beauty things, why we not feel comfortable when very crowd is there, negative environment is there. It is just because of energy. So we must understand and we must share the ideas, this sensitization to everywhere. How can we make kind, respectful, and compensate towards the God, towards the people? This kindness, you know, when there is a beautiful environment, the joy of giving much greater than of receiving kindness gets closer to God and renders inner peace. This inner peace is directly or indirectly related with the clean environment with the social environment, with a good environment. So we should try to develop this environment by giving more and more to the good things, and we should care. One example I want to give you. Suppose somebody slept on my son, how much hurt I feel. But we cut the trees, we destroy the environment, we do not feel any problem. We never hurt. So this type of sensitization we should develop. We should feel when something going on wrong in the environment. This is our moral responsibility. The purpose of such type of programs is to develop such type of awareness that each and every plant, each and every animal, each and every aspect of environment is responsible for our development. Look, this is the energy circulation in the body. How we create negative social environment. If we are selfish, discriminate, we have ego, we have anxiety, we have all negative things, then we will develop the negative environment, and the people in our surroundings will do not like us, and then we will lose the game. We can't achieve the target, we can't do good things in our life. We want to do the good things, we want to create the good environment. That means we should have sacrifice, feeling of sacrifice, power of giving, unconditional love, peace, trust, gratitude. Always we should have gratitude. Whatever we are receiving from the environment, whatever we are receiving from the people, just remember the time of Corona. Then that time there was a huge requirement of oxygen. But we ever think this oxygen is freely available? The plants in our surroundings, they are providing energy, but how much affection we have for such type of things. So when we should think on these lines, then we will develop all those things. Now I want to give you certain example. Very good example of this environmental, but the example of green technology, SpaceX by Elon Musk, fully reusable spacecraft which return to Earth after completing the mission. This should be the approach. If you are developing yourself, if the system is going to develop, we should not harm the development, should not be at the cost of environment. One example, more example I will give you. Tesla company is giving luxurious electric cars to people with less harm to the environment. Electrical cars. So such type of examples are very important. New generation needs to think about scientific and technical development, keeping in view of green and clean environment. This is very important. Sensitization towards nature and species. I also want to highlight one example. Do you remember the incident of Pondicherry? One small elephant was dead due to the heart attack in Pondicherry. The famous temple of Menagula Vinayagar temple in Pondicherry. The age of elephant was 32-year old. Each and every person of the area, including Lieutenant Governor, also attended the last rites of that elephant. Lieutenant Governor in the Pondicherry. So this much attachment we should have towards animal, towards plant. This correlation between environment and human being is very much necessary. If we will develop this much coordination, then we can tell, yes, we are working for this wellness. Wellness for body, wellness for mind, wellness for soul, wellness for our environment. When everything will be good and attractive, then we can give our best. So feeling a sense of pride about our own work. So these things must. Nowadays, we should work alternative aspects of the energy which do not develop any negative impact in the surroundings. One more example I want to give you. Gellard Nelson, politician and environmentalist and the founder of Earth Day, said, the ultimate test of man's consciousness may be this willingness to sacrifice something today for future generations whose words of thanks will not. Therefore, it is more important to analyze what and how can we grow to our environment and nature. In our day-to-day life, daily, we should have the target. Today, at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we should daily have is our duty and responsibility for the environment, for the protection of environment. In the same way, current rise in global concern for climate change has led the development of new concept of environmental technology. This is very important thing, green or clean technology. We should think and work for this green and clean technology to development of new technologies which could conserve, monitor or reduce the impact of negative impact of technology of the environment and control the depletion of resources. Because today we will enjoy, then think about our future generation. If environment will completely destroy, then our future generation will suffer a lot. So we should remember and we should work on these lines. Fujo Cho, honorary chairperson of Toyota Motors, said environmentally friendly cars will soon cease to be the option, they will become necessity. So in conclusion, focusing on environmental wellness concepts people to teach each other and to the planet. When we all work together on this common goal, we can feel a sense of pride about the work we are doing, literally making the world better, peace of all. I think you all are aware of, very easily you can observe different type of in your surroundings, and then sometimes you feel comfortable, sometimes you feel not comfortable. So if you are aware of this fact, good environment can provide the opportunity to develop to each and every individual, then why it is only a theoretical concept? Why it is limited only up to the lectures? What is the attempt to be made to make it practical? So I request to Dr. Surendraji, just try to develop these instructions as a project work in the schools, in the colleges, in the universities, and we should also write to the government, move towards the implementation and make a register, make a record, the contribution. For example, we make the record of the marks we obtain in the examination, but we never make the record in how much plant you grow, how much what is your contribution towards the environment. We should make a record for all these things. We simply just throw the garbage anywhere, we throw the polythene anywhere, but we should develop this consciousness. What is the impact of all these things? This is very important thing. We should develop this consciousness. How much love we have for our own house. We always care small matters, even the pillow cover, even the sofa cover, even the small dust in our house, we immediately remove. But who will care for the earth? Who will care for the society? This is our responsibility. So develop this consciousness. If something is wrong anywhere in the earth, because this earth is our home. If anything is wrong anywhere in the whole earth, we should have the love towards this earth, because this is a big home. Because if earth is destroyed, natural resources will destroy, then our life will destroy, then it is difficult to survive. So I just request to all of you, all dignitaries, all renowned educationists, all people, from today onward, just ask a single question from yourself. What is today's contribution? What is the weekly target you have? Start from very small steps, very small steps. You will develop the awareness. This is renewable sources, these are unrenewable sources. Use of these things, as I have given the example of one Sweden environmentalist. She started from her home. She changed the lifestyle. She requests to their parents, we will use only those things which will be renewable. So a small attempt can make the differences. A small attempt can change the whole environment. So I congratulate Dr. Surendraji ji for giving me opportunity for this very nice program. Is environmental wellness. This wellness is a very important term Because if we will mentally fit, physically fit, socially fit, economical fit, only then we can contribute for the development of society, development of the nation, ultimately for the development of mankind. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All respected
Thank you very
devotees.
much.
Any question you want to ask?
Yes, please, audience, if you have any queries, any question, you may put your questions. Yes. You can
Please
put your
ask the
questions in
question.
chat box. You can put your
Please
question in chat box.
Yes, please ask the question, and also promise me from tomorrow or from today, you will make the
Great,
promise. Will start from your home. Just 3 promise. Dr. Surendraji, please note down. Just 3 promise. You will not throw the waste anywhere. Just take the oath. You will not throw the waste. You will feel the road. You will feel everything around you, your own home. You like the cleanliness. You like the good things. How you can throw the dust, the things on the road, from the car, from the bus? You should not. So these things are very
Sir,
important.
excuse me.
Yes, please ask the questions.
Yeah. There is one question in our chat box. I think it is asked by Dr. B. Ramanathan. Sir has asked that how students to focus well for endorse the skills for environment wellness at school.
This is a very important question. We should develop the consciousness, consciousness to the students, very minor things. First of all, we should tell them this is renewable sources and this is non-renewable sources. For example, polythene. If we will throw the polythene, it will choke the tunnels, it will choke, and it will create a lot of problems in the environment. Very minute things. I have given the example of slab. If you just feel animals and plants also have love and attachment. If you will care the plant will give oxygen to you. If you will care the animals will love you. So we should develop this feeling that we should love and care plants and animals, and we should make a chart for that. Teacher should ask from the student, okay, I will give you marks out of 5, out of 10. It will mention in the report card how many plants you planted, what is your contribution towards the environment. We should note down, and then everybody will move towards the mission, and the dream of Dr. Surendra Das will fulfill of this wellness, because this wellness is not the duty and responsibility of a single person. This is the duty and responsibility of each and every individual.
Yes, sir, very rightly said.
Next question.
Yes. Does anyone have any question? Yes. It is rightly said, Mata Bhumi Putra Ham Prithivyaha. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this positive energy is very important. Many people want to success in their life, but why they do not get the success? Thought process. If we will control the thought process, if our thought process will be positive, I am sure 100% nobody can stop anybody, and he or she can achieve the target. So this social environment, this spiritual environment is very important.
Sir.
In India, there is a saying.
Excuse me, sir. Time is. Sir.
वैसे हम हो जाते हैं. So this is very important. The social environment is very important.
Yes, sir. Very rightly said. Thank you very much. It is said, Mata Bhumi Putra Ham Prithivyaha, means Earth is my mother and I am her child. Sir, you have said very rightly to develop awareness towards environment, to sensitize the generations, and the most important, I liked it, that we had to connect people to each other and to the planet. And new generation has to think about clean and green environment. Thank you very much, sir, for your motivational words. You have presented your thoughts in very innovative way. Your presentation, your words of wisdom appreciated by one and all over here. We would like to appreciate and honor your work by presenting virtual certificate of honor to you. Kindly accept, sir. Abhishek, please flash it on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for a loud round of applause and to appreciate sir's work. Dr. S.B. Sharma, we are appreciating your work, and for that, we have
Thank you.
presented
Thank you.
this virtual certificate to you. Thank you, sir.
Your certificate will, you will also mail the certificate, na?
Yes, sir. It will be.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
And thanks to all.
Yes, sir. Proceeding further, we will be having a panel discussion on the topic building climate ready communities. It's a need of an hour. It was one opinion presented by Eric Ford, Director, UNESCO at New Delhi on the webinar organized to commemorate the World Science Day for Peace and Development 2021. He said that if needs, awareness, enhanced skills, and everybody should participate, then only we can develop a climate ready communities. Ladies and gentlemen, now we'll be starting our panel discussion on the topic, the theme building climate ready communities. We have an innovation ambassador certified by the Ministry of Education, Innovation Cell for Schools, a very dynamic, dedicated, resourceful person as a moderator for today's discussion, Dr. Sunita Singh. Ma'am has wide contribution in the field of education for last 30 years. She is appointed as an executive member of Sahodaya, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Vice President of Indian Forum Educators, and also a freelance counselor at Manthan to carry out the project You Are Not Alone by Live, Love, Laugh Foundation. She keeps herself updating with various CPD courses. Ma'am, we welcome you and the platform is yours. You may begin your panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Dhanshri ma'am, for that wonderful introduction of mine. Greetings of the day once again to all the esteemed panelists, the speakers, the galaxy of intellectuals present today as audience for joining the session. Now we'll be having a panel discussion on environment wellness. Today, we all are concerned about the environment and the changing climate. In absence of information, we tend to worse scenario. So we thought this session, building climate ready communities, would help all of us to achieve clarity on what is known versus what is speculation or even exaggeration. This is an important topic that is affecting and is going to affect the human race if we do not take the action at right time, and that right time is today. Maybe just now, as Sir said, you need to start. We are honored to create amazing panel to share with what we must know about the climate as a responsible global citizen, answer the question which often comes to our mind, and give some tips and points to the audience as a takeaway. Before we begin the session, I wish to introduce the panelists of the session. We have Dr. Ramanathan with us. Ma'am, could you please spotlight on him? Dr. Ramanathan is the founder and managing director of ACE International Private Limited, Singapore. He has 20 years of experiences both in research and development and learning and development sectors. His research experiences comprise with biomedical science and clinical research, areas in few renowned institutions, including National University of Singapore and Sing Health Singapore, Taipei Veteran General Hospital, National Yang Ming University, Taiwan, Academia Sinica, Taiwan, Changgung University, Taiwan, Indian Institute of Science, India, Bharati Darshan University, India, and during his career, he has published book chapters and peer-reviewed articles, as well as provided lead talks in seminars, workshops, and conferences. Further, he has acted as mentors for research projects and received several awards for his academic and research credits. So looking forward for a great, views of yours. We have the next Amitsas, a quite notable educationist, Dr. Vandana Paul. She's working as a principal of Mount Letrazee School, Desa at Nagpur. She has an experience of 16 years in the field of education. She has received Nachiketa Award as principal at Principals Conference for 3 consecutive years. Commendable. Congratulations, ma'am, for that. This award was conferred on her for her most innovative ideas in the field of education. In the year 2015, she received this award by the hands of ex-Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, on the topic to bring out harmony through education. Today, we are going to listen to you how we can bring harmony with the nature. She has also been recipient of Super Nachiketa Award for effective implementation of innovative ideas at the hands of Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, an educationist, reformist, and architect of Sustainable India at the International Principals Conference. She has been awarded Super Women Award in recognition for excellence in innovative teaching and methodology, hosted by 94.3 My FM at Nagpur. She is a master trainer for CBSE. She believes that each child has potential and they just need love and support to achieve the same. It's wonderful to have both of you as a panelist. So as a panel moderator, I'll be guiding you all through the process, since we have a very short period of time given, that's 50 minutes. So we are going to break the session into chunks. Without much ado, let me start. Dr. B. Ramanathan, what is your opinion on the topic chosen for today's discussion? When you heard or read about this topic, what came to your mind? Is it the right topic which is given to you?
Definitely. Good evening, all. It is great pleasure and honor to join for this great panel session guided by Dr. Sunita Singh and my colleague Vandana Paul. Myself, Dr. B. Ramanathan. I am very glad to join hand for this Global Wellness Summit organized by Dr. Subhendra Das. It is the need of the hours. It is the conditions, it is the situations, it is the duty of each and everyone to contribute better for the Mother Earth to protect. And what we are using right now, we must need to review and we must need to reanalyze and making some steps forward. That's why all of us, we gathered here. There are eminent people who shared just before me. The Sharmaji also mentioned the same thing. We can hear from our dialogue sessions, which is going to guided by Dr. Sunita Singh, because the questions are very fantastic. Hope to hear from Dr. Sunita Singh for that. That will embrace for you to understand better what we can be able to support for the building the climate ready communities. That is the need of the hours. Over to Dr. Sunita Singh.
Great, sir. Dr. Vandana, what just throw some light on the opinion of yours on the topic. Unmute yourself. May I request Abhishek to allow her to unmute.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Sunita. The topic is very relevant, and being a school principal, I felt that this is appropriate that we discuss on this platform. The topic wellness is in itself a very relevant topic, and we understand for bringing out any change, we need at least 15 to 16 years, let us say, the outcome will be seen, and school is the right place if we nurture this young mind. So, that change would be evident after 14, 15 years. So I feel that I was really excited that we will be discussing, we'll be learning from each other on this topic of at the Global Wellness Summit, by learning how we can develop the climate-ready communities.
Very well said, ma'am. You have 14 to 15 years with the children, yes. Now let's move further to know more about the topic from our expert. Dr. Ram, my question to you is, why is climate readiness to be endorsed, and how can we endorse it? The other question which I add with this is, how can we promote climate actions?
Because as per the conditions, we have analyzed and we have reported a lot of things which are making the changes in the climate. The main thing is global warmingness. That is the main thing we have to focus, because the temperatures once raised, the sea level also getting raised. And we must need to take the action for controlling the temperature, which should not be getting raised. So what are the way we have to formulate, and we have to frame work for that kind of guidance or guidelines, which are very much important as of now. So in the school, we wanted to engage the children must need to think and aspire for that, how to endorse the skills which are very important. As my questions also to the eminent speaker earlier, because we can able to inculcate the minds who can be able to think and take the responsibilities. Today they are the students, tomorrow they are the policymakers. So what we learned from our past, our mannerisms, our mental thinking may not endorse with those kind of skills. How to these 3R principles for the case. The 3R means reduce, reuse, and recycle. Now repairing also coming to label the pictures, because many places they wanted to use the refurbished equipments or refurbished materials. Just now he mentioned that Tesla also planning to reuse and refurbish the items which are important for the space vehicles. So these are all the time we have to think, why do we able to get into the new rather than we can reuse the materials or recycle the materials for enabling the community not to accumulate the waste. That is the one kind. The another way, how do we able to engage the community to think and prosper well? There are policies taken by the government, whether it is properly implemented, or the organizations or industries or any kind of associations who join hand. Because there are so many social enterprises they wanted to support. That is non-governmental organizations or non-profit organizations. They wanted to emphasize and they wanted to make the people to understand better about the guidelines which are going to make the transformation or changes which we wanted to pursue and we wanted to see in future. The current status is very complex, and how do we able to engage ourselves to incubate for that and making ourselves to think and prosper well. These are all the duties for each and everyone. Even this Global Wellness Summit, we have spoken for many topics, but environmental wellness, that is mainly concerned for humankind. Mostly the human kinds and the man-made calamities are the dangerous thing. So we can able to control it, because the nature itself has its own harmony to maintain and manage. But the human and nature, we must need to endorse. There is a harmony required between the humankind as well as the nature kind. So where we can able to align together, put our focus for making the transformational changes, what we wanted to see to control the climate change. Thank you.
I agree with you, Dr. Ram. You said that nature has its own way of cleaning that we saw during COVID. We started over-exploiting it during a lockdown period. We saw it, refreshed itself. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Vandana, the question to you is the very basic question. As a layman, like how will you explain people that what is climate and why is it changing? And how can we predict the future climate? We are talking about the future. How can we predict the type of climate that will be existing in the future?
Yeah, I'm thankful to you that you asked this question and you made me explain it to a layman, because as a school principal, when I asked my children what is the difference between weather and climate, though they study all this in their social studies, but very few were like clear with what is greenhouse gas, greenhouse effect. Everything is known a little, but a clarity is required so that they are sensitized and aware about this seriousness and gravity of the situation. So let me explain what is climate. It is long-term shift in temperature and the pattern of weather over the globe. So why this temperature increase is so serious, or we need to understand that. Was it not there before? What has happened suddenly? So I asked this question to my children in this way only. So it was already there. Obviously, greenhouse gases were there, but it was in a very small quantity, and that small quantity is actually required. Otherwise we would become frozen balls. We would have become popsicles. So they understood that yes, some amount of these greenhouse gases, which are carbon dioxide, methane, water vapors, what happens when sun rays reach our atmosphere? It is radiated back. But this greenhouse gases, they are acting as a blanket and they are sending it back, which is keeping our Mother Earth warmer. Now the concern is when the temperature is increased, then it becomes dangerous. So for past thousands of years, this climate was stable. But now the concern, because of after industrial revolution, what has happened, the increase is more than 1%. When we hear 1%, my children were making faces like, okay, ma'am, just 1%. So what is there to be worried about? But this 1% is globally, right? So it has got huge impact.
1 degree centigrade.
And the more concern is 1 degree centigrade. So this 1 degree centigrade is not that it is happening quickly. That is the concern. That if it happens, UN says that if it happens by 2100, it would be still acceptable, because yes, we are developing and this is bound to happen. But it is now anticipated that by 2030 we are going to be 1.5 degree warmer, which is a concern because it has got dangerous impact. We have already started getting the taste of all this. So this is the concern. So the children should understand that small steps will take giant leap, and we should understand that we have not inherited Mother Earth from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our children, future generation. Nowadays, the children have become very smart. They are saying there is no need of worrying about, nothing is going to be left. The world is going to end somewhere. They have become this negative notion. So we need to, we as educationists, we need to tell them that if still it is not late. If we start from our school, like in our school, we have started all this, that we have stopped giving bouquets to our chief guests. We have started gifting saplings, paper bags. Our school is plastic free zone. Few days back, a costume vendor had come and he wanted to give clothes in polythene bags. So we offered him a bunch of paper bags made by our eco club students. We this kind of very, very small steps, I would say. But yes, we have started taking, because it is very important that we sensitize these young children at school level. And not only children, we called our parents in the morning assemblies. We told them, because होता है ना, बच्चे मम्मी के साथ शॉपिंग के लिए गए तो वहां मम्मी कहती कुछ नहीं होता, एक दिन आप प्लास्टिक ले लो. My child says that, no, mama, my teacher has taught me that it is not right. I don't want to use, I should always have a cloth bag with me. So parents come and say that, ma'am, these are the words by the students. So I feel very great that children are learning.
That's really commendable, ma'am. Sir, my question to Dr. Ram is, how can we build climate-ready communities? We say that it should be built. But how?
Actually, the government is thinking very seriously because it is the duty of each and every government. They wanted to ensure that the nation is practicing well for the climate actions. As rightly Madam pointed out, we have to start from school because where we are preparing the future generation and future workforce for the community to develop. So it is the duty of each and everyone must need to learn and embrace the opportunities wherever it is possible. We can able to do that in daily practice as well. It starts from home or it starts from self. So we must need to aware about that. How do we able to support taking a cloth bag to the shops, reduce the plastics to use, the use and throw kind of plastic bag, or taking your vessels to go and buy the foods from the respective restaurants. That is also reduced because those days in my childhood, still I remember I used to go and take the vessels from home to buy any materials like oils or buying tea and other things because we used to behave like that. But now, because of everything is possible to get it, so rather than use the kind of once use kind of items, because it is also producing lot of carbon emission, the industries who are practicing for that, and deforestation, when you are using paper cups and the paper packs, it is also deforesting the trees to exploit. So there are so many ways. That's why earlier I pointed out the harmony with nature. That is the way we have to engage our lifestyle and the missions which are making the transformation what we wanted to pursue in our day-to-day life. And it is a collective response, not only from the government, not only from the industries, not only from the societies, but all together, how do they able to think and prosper for those kind of activities? Everyday action is making the bigger changes, but it starts from the small steps to go for the longer journey. So we are taking these kind of votes and we are taking these kind of steps forward to make the march that will create the value in coming days. Because many places I could able to see they ban the plastics, plastic zone free kind of things. That is also welcome. And many places they don't want to use these kind of things. In my circle, I came to know many countries they want to use the plant-based kind of material, areca plates and all, and bamboo plates like that, bamboo sticks like that. So these kind of things are making the change in their mind. They wanted to use those kind of things. And there are some athletes, they wanted to use the recycled fiber, the plastics recycled fiber, create the wearables. So they wanted to use that. Even it is expensive, but they wanted to support the environment, how to reuse the materials which can be eliminating certain kind of values for the climate actions. That is the thing we must need to think. And more probably, it is a way we have to practice maybe from home or the person who are engaging the family lifestyle as well as social lifestyle. Many organizations, they wanted to practice these kind of things. When any kind of big gatherings or celebrations, making thousands of people gather, they wanted to engage these kind of activities that will create more values, I think. We must need to follow certain kind of guidelines by the United Nations and other organizations who wanted to emphasize. And there are a lot of summits related to this environment protections or building the climate ready community. There are a lot of guidelines and portfolios available in online. We can able to conduct a lot of workshops and awareness program and making the joint hand together with the corporate social responsibility people who can able to support the necessary funds for this. So there are so many organizations involved for that, and we can conduct these kind of programs in the school or the institutes and the industries as well as the social sake, because many people they don't know how to practice it. What is the value of the materials we can able to manage for recycle and reuse? They just throw it in the dustbin and it is going to accumulate in the environment or somewhere. It is making a lot of troubles. And mainly we have to think about the environmental contamination is going to affect the health of the people, because it is going to make a lot of communicable diseases in the environment. That is, we must need to aware about that. In Singapore, we don't see that kind of things because the government is taking care of all the waste. But I could see the difference in India and other developing countries because the country in Singapore, because they wanted to engage and embrace these kind of practices. They collect all the waste and they incinerate, and they are producing the power source, the energy for supporting for the country's benefit. And they are accumulating the waste, the ash after the incineration. They prepared the first of the mankind manual island they create, Semaco Island. Anybody can Google up, you can understand better how the waste is transformed into another version of island. So this is the one of the information I wanted to share with you. So we can think, and the fly ash which is coming out from that, we can reuse for some kind of bricks, some kind of other concrete molded materials. We can use them for many purposes. So there are many people, they are using the plastics for creating the roads, the blocks. Instead of tar, they wanted to use the reusable plastic bricks and other things. So we can able to think of the alternatives. How do we able to make the change and not to accumulate the waste in our environment as well as the burden for us. This is the point I wanted to emphasize. The climate ready community is coming out from the government regulations and act, but it is the responsibility for the community to understand and practice for the kind of sake.
Sir, my question is how to, convince the people, where, as you pointed out very well, that India has a huge population. In Singapore, maybe it is very easy. Me as an educator, I felt that to teach children is very easy. It's difficult to teach the parents. Now, as an educator, we have the dual responsibility of teaching the children, which is, I feel, is easier than teaching the parents. If you have any idea of that, if you could share your...
It should be a tripartite association.
Because you said that government can take the initiative, it can form the policies, but ultimately each and every citizen has to implement that.
Definitely. It is the responsiveness of each and everyone who are engaging the activities in the country. Why do we want to engage the children means it is the duty of us to prepare the future citizens, and it is the duty of us to educate and engage them for the future workforce. And when I was in my daughter's school as a parent support group leader, I could able to see now recently also the government, especially Ministry of Education, wanted to engage the partnership not only with teachers and students, they wanted to bring the parents as well, because the parents are having diversified capacities as well as the eminency, expertise and knowledge source. And these things are real values for the students to get aware about that, the real-time scenario or some kind of experiential learning from the eminent personalities. So they don't want to avoid. Usually the alumni are very strong in many institutions, especially premier institute like IIT, IISc, IIM, because those alumni are current, they are transferring and transforming the current values to the institutions, because it is the connections for them to endorse and embrace for the community. But the parents also having that, but everybody is busy, but it is not only because of the busy schedule, they should not avoid the circumstances where they can able to uplift the community or something they wanted to upgrade their understanding or knowledge. So the government is also thinking how to make the tripartite association. The teachers are engaging the curricular activities, but the extracurricular add-on value is coming out of the school, where we can able to build certain kind of gaps, how to bridge the gap like that. Like we can conduct the programs, competitions, awareness kind of sessions, or exhibitions, or engaging the industry institute partnerships. Because recently I can able to understand applied learning program, ALP, especially bound with the STEM education, where they can able to understand the new generation technologies, how to use the coding practices or some kind of robotics, automation, or any kind of other simulation kind of models like AR, VR solutions. These are all the valuable things for them to understand better, engaging certain values for them. because we cannot able to take them to all environments, but this kind of simulated environment can teach them well. So the schools can able to engage these kind of things, not only for the sake of tutoring the students, also engaging the public. They can come and engage together. So the students also getting involved with that, because you can ask them to explain. So that when the students start to explain, the adult people, including the
more
parents or
impact,
other
yes.
people, also getting attracted, and they are surprising, because recently also the girl from Europe also she declared that kind of things in the United Nations event. So everybody is thinking like that. The voice is important. Where it is coming out from, that is not more important, but how do they project it to the environment and the society is important. So whether it is coming out from students, coming out from the social awareness people, whomever it may be, but it should come out very loudly and very concretely to embrace the change what we wanted to see and pursue for the community to develop further.
So we need to be the change which we want to see in the world, right?
Right.
I appreciate, sir. You very well explained.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to ask you, is there any organization specifically working to take action for building climate ready community? And one more question, you being an educational leader, have you taken any step or projects to bring out the change or preparing the new generation students?
I would like to answer your second question first.
Okay.
As a school, we have taken whole school approach, wherein we wanted to, practice what we preach. So before changing anybody else, we started with our principal, teachers, management. So we have installed, I'm very elated to share that in our school, we have sewage water treatment plant where 45,000 liters of water can be processed. Secondly, we have installed incinerator in our school. We held sessions for adolescents, guiding everything, and incinerator installed in school. So children are seeing the efforts of the school in maintaining the taking care of the environment. Then we believed empowering children. Like I said, in the morning assemblies, they made posters. One day we called parents, so they kind of sensitizing them by, eco club activities, wherein they were asked to just find out how long does it take to compost or degrade these things. So when they found out themselves that it takes thousands of years, or sometimes 500 years, 10 years, so they could understand. Instead of we lecturing, they found out as a project. We involved them in the learning process. So empowering children, and these two things. Then we have our, like I said, we have this gifting of saplings. Then that kind of culture in the school, right from entering in the school, you will see that there is a culture. So I believe when the vision, mission, school culture, everything speaks this, we are all singing the same song. So it becomes very easy to train children, because they learn that we are not only lecturing, we are actually practicing. Then I found out your first question was any organization. So my daughter is studying in Delhi University in the Prasthit College. She told me once that there is a Millennium Fellowship Program by UN, wherein they encourage this college student, undergraduate students, whose idea, they are selected based on the ideas which advances this sustainable development goals. So my daughter is also one of the she has got this fellowship. She is working on sustainable development goals. And the idea behind all this is, gathering like-minded youth, I would say. They're working together, finding solutions. So I think there are nowadays social media for let us say social influencer. I did not know this word. I heard it from my daughter only. because in our life, influencer were only, somebody who spoke great things, So social media influencer, I got to know from my daughter. She said, we are using all these platforms. Why to see only the negative aspect of social platforms? So she is, I'm happy to know that my daughter is doing all this. She is very, very, I have seen that she doesn't want to purchase clothes. She says, let us be minimalist, let us have minimalist approach. So that day she made me feel that unnecessary, we should not purchase saris. I'm very proud to say that my daughter taught me this, that stop. Have you ever thought where these clothes are going? So somewhere, as a principal, I was leading. I told you that practice what you preach. This thing, as a lady, as a principal, we purchase saris, right? So that day my daughter told me that, Mama, you have enough and you need to stop now. So this again, I did it in my personal lifestyle change, I would say, that I thought that, yes, now I need to considerable in purchasing, even if we need. She has only 4 jeans and 4 t-shirts, and she has gone with that in her college. So I feel very proud as a mother that she has got this thing in her mind. So I feel this youth and this Millennium Fellowship, which I'm talking about, it's working really good, and they have formed a group. They are surveying, they are trying to find out actual cause, and they are working together. So there is hope, I would say.
Yes, we need to be optimistic. Yes, change is happening.
Change is happening.
Way that no more extra purchase of clothes if not required. That's for everybody who is present in the meeting today. Here at this platform, I take this privilege to share with you all that Indian Forum of Educators had already launched a nationwide campaign called A Time for under the able leadership of Dr. Surendra, I think a year back, wherein we encourage everybody to devote at least 15 to 90 minutes per week for the environment. Not much time we need, only 60 to 90 minutes. Dr. Sharma was asking Dr. Das to take some initiative. He is well ahead of time. He has already done that. And many of the schools have taken this as a school project, and ours is one of them. So those who are interested to know about this project more can contact Das sir or any other person who is in the organizing committee. So let's move ahead. It was nice to hear from both of you. Sir, I would like to know one takeaway which you suggest, or one tool which you suggest us to immediately implement in our life. There are, of course, so many, but your favorite one.
So wonderful. Really, it is amazing to hear from you all. It is also embracing us. How do we able to focus and adapt well for the environment to take care, as well as share with enough knowledge what we wanted to pursue a better life and lifestyle. So the school is the way they are willing to support for the young generation. As I'm very much congratulations for that climate school or climate model school. So many people, what they wanted to see in the future, they wanted to create the model. So that is the way you are doing that kind of great things. I would like to handhold together. Our organization is also having that kind of focus goal, and we wanted to support institute industry partnership where I can able to bring the value of industries. They can support the institute how to bridge the gap. As I already mentioned, the STEM education project or any other programs or any other kind of materials what we wanted to pursue, especially the eating, because the farming also one of the biggest thing you must need to take care. Now everywhere they wanted to minimize the kind of levels eating or using the materials as rightly pointed out by Vandana madam. We can take certain kind of regulations and control measures, how it would be. for the personal things, personal desire or personal values. So we should not over exploit the environment. When you are taking the vehicle to go for 100 kilometers, maybe you can take the public transport to avoid. So the vehicles are using the fossil fuels to emit more carbon dioxide into the environment. That is the one kind of thing. So we are planning to bring the electrical vehicle in future. In Singapore, they have already planned for it, how to make use of the electrical vehicle as much as possible in the cities island to reduce the pollution, because the carbon emission makes a lot of pollution and it is going to affect the health of the human. So we wanted to control it. The first one like that. And they wanted to use the solar panels to produce the energy, which is going to support a lot for their electrical appliances and electrical consumptions for the island. So they wanted to prepare 30% of the solar panel energy in coming years. So this is one kind of goals that they wanted to achieve. You can go and see the NEA, National Environment Agency of Singapore. All these policies, how do they able to measure for the smart city state? Because it is the smart nation. They wanted to build and construct pollution-free environment and economical driven environment, and it is supporting the citizens to live and lead happy moments for each and everywhere. So that is the goal sets they wanted to achieve. And now recently, Singapore government wanted to take these measurements, carbon emission control, because they wanted to use those kind of elements as well as the practices. They want to arrange, they want to construct any building zero waste kind of plans. So as earlier pointed out, so these kind of things we must need to focus, and zero energy, because it is not exploiting the climate, the condition of the Mother Earth. So we must need to the alternative way. How do we able to engage our best practices to accumulate for the social environment as well as health and safety for the humankind? Because many years we did not focus well for those things. So scientists are now focusing well, and they are simulating this model, how it would be for the futuristic values. We have to care about that and think about that. These are all the conditions. Everywhere now it is the talk of the town. We must need to think how to prepare the measurements, control measures, and other activities which are very, very important for us to focus. The eating behaviors, socializing, as well as the country which are going to make the policies and formulations, which is not to exploit the Mother Earth, the sources and resources. So we must need to take care of all these things. The values we can able to predict in many ways in coming days, but at the same time we have to protect the resources and the sources which are not to be taken by only this generation, but we have to continue to allow for the next generation to have that kind of values and retain and sustain for those kind of people also to use. So that is the global the sustainability development goals proposed by United Nations. They wanted to engage many activities revolving with that kind of 17 factors. So we must need to aware about that. And your schools also can able to conduct these kind of programs for all these groups, teachers, students, and parents, as well as the social activities engaging different kind of organizations, associations, as well as industry partners also. That's the way we can able to engage and embrace for the betterment. Thank you.
So nothing is difficult, everything is easy.
If it is possible, then nothing is impossible. We can do that.
Dr. Vandana, if you would, suggest any one tool which can be immediately implemented.
Yes, I would like to share that while I was preparing for this session, I just got to know that survey says that 91% people want to be sustainable, 91% people want to take action. It's just that we need to shift the focus from want to action. The concern is not, since we know that 91% people are for it. So it's like we are already there on the path. It will take some time, but good that we are on the path. The point is climate pessimist people who think that there is no hope. We have already crossed the threshold, and it is a collective responsibility. And the moment we say it is a collective responsibility, nobody takes the onus. Everybody thinks that, okay, fine, we are in the summit. Let Sunita madam do this. Let Dr. Ram do this. Why should I do this? That kind of thought comes. So the concern is those climate pessimist people should understand, or while sensitizing or raising awareness, we should say that it is collective responsibility, but it is not me to we, it is I plus I plus I plus I is we. Let everybody think that it is my responsibility.
Wonderful, ma'am.
Just that.
Wonderful. So let's go to the audience because we are coming to the end of the discussion. I wanted to go it forever because it's going on so interesting. So our audience might be having some questions. If at all, please type them in the chat box. And if you want to ask specifically to any one of the panelists, please write their name followed by the question so that the question can be asked to them directly. So anyone? So take your time. If it is there, please type in the chat box. Our anchor will put it to the panelist. So thank you, Dr. Ram, Dr. Vandana, for your inputs and joining us as a panelist. We really appreciate your interest and knowledge in this important issue. Thank you, audience, for investing your time on this Saturday evening in India, we say. But I don't know what time of the day it might be at different time zones.
Here it is 10:30 nearing.
Okay. So now one quote is coming to my mind. Never doubt that small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. And for this, maybe we all are the one who have gathered together. And thank you, Dr. Surendra Das, to make us bring together. Thank you very much. And now I hand over the forum to Mr. Dhanshri to take further course of action.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
There's a question, how do we join the project?
Excuse me, Dr. Sunita, you just continue. Professor Monica joined. I think after 5 minutes, she'll be back. Actually, she's moved from England to US and she was struggling to be online. She joined and then
Monica is here.
No, Professor Monica Mastantonio, our next guest speaker I'm talking about.
She is here with us. She's
Right.
talking
She's
to
there.
us.
Fine, okay.
She joined.
All right. She's joined, that's fine.
Welcome, Ms. Monica.
Yes, audience. If you have any question, any queries, kindly put it in our chat box so that our panelists can answer your queries, your answer. Yes, please. Madam Smita. Yes, please.
No, I want to know if you can hear me so I can then briefly present. Okay, good, thank you.
Yes, please put your question. Yes.
I think there was one question in chat box. How do we join?
Yeah.
We'll share.
For that, that question I just read. So it is like in our school, it is all individual level project. I said it is whole school approach. So in school, we are practicing it. So as such, there is no provision that you can join me. Yes, you can join by, individually contributing. Like I said, let us all do our bits, our Mother Earth.
Yeah, here at this platform, I would also like to add one such activity which we conduct in our school, that we tell our students to plant a sapling on their birthday, so that they develop that belongingness about the sapling and they care for those that plant also. So that's why I felt that I should share this thing.
So nice.
Yeah, thank you. The discussion, it was really very wonderful. We all are highly benefited with your discussions. And Dr. Vandana ma'am, we liked that you have water purification plant and incinerator too, so that children, they develop that awareness that they had to care for the nature. Here I would like to add, it is regarding town and country air. It was written by Celia Beryl. It's both town and country air that we ultimately share. So polluting one expect to get a butterfly effect. If the key to all our health is to share in nature's wealth, then we would best invest a plan to save our wildlife while we can. So today's discussion, it was wonderful, where we could get many takeaways also, like Dr. Ramanathani suggested some takeaways, which I really liked it. One, that is zero waste, that we like, there should not be any waste produced, and whatever it is, it should be recyclable, reusable, or we had to reduce the use of it. Here, I would like to honor our moderator, Dr. Sunita Singh, by presenting a certificate of honor. Abhishek, are you ready? Kindly share. Yes, Dr. Sunita Singh, ma'am, we are highly obliged that you were with us and you conducted this session wonderfully. Dr. Ramanathan sir, kindly accept our feelings, our gratitude through this certificate. Abhishek, we have to flash Dr. Ramanathan's certificate.
Just a minute, it's getting
Yeah,
loading.
yeah. Okay, no problem. Yes, Dr. B. Ramanathan. This certificate honor, kindly accept and honor us.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Dr. Vandana Paul, kindly accept our certificate. Yeah. Dr. Vandana Paul, ma'am, kindly accept our certificate of honor.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists. It was wonderful experience sharing and listening to you. Proceeding further, Mahatma Gandhi has rightly said that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Let us welcome our presenter, Dr. Monica Mastrantonio, a visiting professor at the University of York, visiting researcher at the University of Gießen, Germany. Madam has done PhD in social psychology. She is an activist and author at the World Forest Organization, the UK. Ma'am will be speaking on the topic costless daily practices to green the world. Ma'am, the platform is yours. Please start your thing.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you all for the invite. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, India. And it's a pleasure to be here. I hope you can hear me well. It's Starbucks saving me because, yes, I had problems with the connection and also many issues. So what I would like to post now, and thank you all for this opportunity, is the role that we have in engaging the new generations to green the world. So my research field is in future studies and future narratives. So how are we creating the future in our daily practices? I'm going to share the survey that I developed and some of my data here. I'm going to share at the chat if anybody wants to participate. And I'm going to share my screen with you. So this is about greening the world. Greening the world, why do we need to green the world? Actually, because we quite nearly destroyed it in the past 50 years. So the data that I want to show you is that mostly of our effects that we have on now into climate crisis and all the problems that the whole world is facing. First, it was not caused by most of the South Hemispheric countries from India, Africa, or South America. So this is our agenda. And this 50-year destruction was caused by many organizations like global companies, some of lack of compromise of governments and not achieving the goals. Sometimes it was also surviving schemes, food schemes, but also part of a capital system that exploits and still colonize most of the world. This is the data that I have, especially from Stefan.
Excuse me, Professor Monica, there is some background noise is coming from your side.
I know it's a Starbucks, but I can't do anything about it.
Okay, please carry on, please carry on.
Yes, I'm very sorry, but I can't manage that. Okay. So if we can see here in the graphics, I really wanted to show to you that ocean acidification, destruction of the environment, the rise on the climate crisis, this all urban population, the energy use and the water use and water crisis, this is happening and going like this, like a spacecraft in the past 50 years. This means that previously, all the back generations were somehow capable of maintaining a certain equilibrium, a certain maintenance. But this, in the past 50 years, we haven't maintained that. So our primary goals and the global utopia that we have now are the 17 goals. Very different from the past that we had many utopias. Now it's a survival utopia. It's the 17 goals so we can survive and manage food, air, and water. So basically, it's the basic things that we are trying to maintain. In my research, that the one that I shared in the chat, I have already 300 responders from all the world, parts of the world. So basically, we need the hope in the future. We need the hope in the future generations. As Dante says, I'm going to jump, Dante Alighieri, the main Italian author, he says that hell is the place where there is no hope. So in front at the door of hell, it's written, leave all the hope behind. So humanity, when we don't have any hope in the future, we are entering a hell stage. So when I asked the new generations, how hopeful are you in the future? So I had like half of them are hopeful in the future, but 31% and 10% here, like 43% are not hopeful in the future. When I also asked in the research, are we going to achieve the 17 goals? 75% said no, we are not going to achieve the goals. So this brings a lot of unhope to humanity. And when I asked, are we evolving? So 45% of the population said, yes, we are evolving. But the rest said, no, we are going backwards. We are failing. We are static. So we are not evolving as humanity because we have so many problems and issues to cope. And the new generations, they are all feeling this. We have a great role towards the new generation. So we have here people saying, how do you feel about the future? So 43% said they say they feel partially anxious towards the future. And 25%, 24.8 said they feel anxious about the future. And do you feel we can destroy the planet? So if we put partially the orange and the blue, we have 68.7% saying, yes, we can destroy the planet. So we have a very big action in terms of destructions. And we can't lie to children. We have to tell them the truth that we did a lot of bad things to the planet. And we need their help to restore the system that needs us and our daily practices. I know that I came here to give us some hope. So here are the results about, are we going to reach the goal? So only 13% said that we are going to reach the goals. This is like very small amount of people. And how are we going to be in the future? We are going to be sadder, controlled, manipulated, obsolete, no idea. Just 25% said that we are going to be happier. So in the future, we are not, it's not a very happy future for all of us. And here is sometimes, these were two open questions. What is the message to your future self? What is the message to the future world? And people were saying, please, peace, be wise. And can you see here, kids? They are saying, save the kids. So this is a claim for all the teachers, for all of us. Please save the kids. They are also at threat in this kind of future. And to the world, we need peace. We need to stop the conflicts. We need faith. We need to join hands. We need action. So I think the results of my research are showing very clearly that the universe, the planet can be heaven, but can be hell. We don't have a unique faith. We can build a very heavenly system where we all join forces, and we can build hell on earth where we are all split and fighting to survive. So, in this world, I do trust that we have to educate the new generations, but without any hypocrisy, because they are suffering deeply. They come to the world and they know it's half destroyed, and there are many and many challenges that they are going to face. So how can we create more and more carbon-free individuals? How can we rely on more and more sustainable energy systems? How can we set the example and lead the world? And I think there is a rise and a shift in terms of mentality that the South Hemisphere countries need to teach the North Hemisphere countries. There's a shift in consciousness that we need to lead and tell them and teach them in terms of solidarity, in terms of using less resources and being as happy. And that's also part of my actual goal, to create potentially a book with chapters from South Hemisphere's leaders to tell North Hemisphere how we can survive with less, how can we keep the faith, how can we collaborate, how can we destroy less, how can we join forces. So, and part of what you were saying about planting and living a plant-based society, this includes eating less and less meat. It's not becoming vegetarian. And I can say I've been a vegetarian for 30 years, and there was a lot of rules and people saying that I would be unhealthy and I should eat and I would have issues with pregnancy, and that's all lies that we created. There was no issue on that. We don't need that. We need more and more. Teach people and schools how to create school gardens, how to create home gardens. And that's something that wherever I go, I plant trees. So here in Germany and in the UK and in Brazil, I keep planting trees. We are 7 billion in the planet. If each school plants 1 tree per student, we would have one libraries, you know, seed libraries, places in community. My connection is very unstable, but let's go. Seed libraries where we can donate seeds to citizens so they can plant in their gardens, in community gardens. So this is one of the things that I've been advocating for, more and more seed libraries everywhere.
Dr. Sunita, may I draw your attention?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think she's facing the problem. So I'll talk to her that we will be proceeding ahead. I think it is getting some problem.
Okay. Sir, once again, greetings of the day to each one present in the forum. Today we had ample food stock for our mind. I think each one of us had enjoyed, had lot of takeaways, and learned many of the new things through the sessions which were carried out. It was like I was feeling as if it was a galaxy of intellectuals on one platform.
Yes, so now I'm going to share the other World Forest Organization website with you, where I've been advocating for seed libraries. I think more and more schools, and I know there are many teachers here, they have to create seed libraries. So seed libraries is where we can grow seeds and share the seeds with the community to plant at home and also in community gardens and so on. And the last thing before I was dropped here, I was telling you about basil, that when I was in India, I learned a lot of things and all the culture about basil and how sacred basil is. But one thing that my grandmother told me, because Italy uses basil a lot in the pasta and everything. She said, Monica, if you split the basil and you put in a glass with water, after 15 days, it grows roots. So from one basil, you can make 10 roots of basils and plant in your garden. And then from 10 roots of basils, you can create a big garden of basil that you can make tea, you can make pesto that goes in the pasta and many other resources. So I think we need in our educational skills, go into 3 patterns. One is greening the world. Another one are resources for mental health, which is really striking the new generations in terms of anxiety. It could be meditation. It could be many other techniques of well-being. So green, mental health. And the third one is hope. And hope, I've been studying lately, it's a feeling that we have to cultivate. It's not something that we are born with. Hope is something that when we educate the new generations, we give them our best resources. So this is something, and then we say, you are going to continue this good pattern that we have been sacrificing ourselves for you to have. So it's also time that we go back to that and that we understand that we need to give our best to the new generation and not a destroyed, deployed world because of our greed, because we can't think ahead, because we can't foresee the future, or because we just need to survive. So basically, these are my pleas for us in terms of education and educational resources. And that can be done every day. So if everyone gets 1 basil and do 10 more basils from 1, that's more oxygen, that's more green, that's more moisture to the soil. We need to keep the moisture in the soil. The plants also absorb water. When there's too much water, they save us from erosion, from so many issues, especially trees. So this is something we really need to relearn and to do for our great-grandchildren, or they will hate us. And that's something I don't want to do. There was a sign once that said, what are you going to say to your great-grandchildren in Scotland, where I frequently go to, and where water, I think it's the only place in the world where water is not paid. Water is a well-being resource for humanity. It should not be paid for. And they make that their something that they haven't. So, and it was there that I saw this in Aberdeen saying, what excuse are you going to say to your grandchildren for not doing what you had to? And I took a photo of that. And so that's my message that we have, because they are going to ask us, and we better do something before it's too late and before we can't go back. I already have my doubts that because some studiers in this field of deportation, they say that if you reach certain levels, even though we try to go back, we won't be able to go back because we already destroyed. These species that we destroyed are not going to be revived by anything. So it's really urgent that we rethink and reframe our actions and everything that we do and all our minor decisions. So basically that's it. I'm sorry for everything, but the connection, many issues, I want to go on to that because the important thing is that we are together here and we are together here for something that we should be proud of. Thank you all so much. I'm open for questions, obviously, and I'm going to share the website where I usually write, and I'm going to share especially this article about a world in flames. So we have in certain places too much water, in other places too much fire. So we need to try to find again the equilibrium for the planet and for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica ma'am.
Yeah, Monica ji, there's one question for you. How can the Sustainable Development Goal, wellness, number 3, and education, number 4, and 17 for clean water achieved?
Yes, the water. Can you hear me? Yes, Manju. Yes, you said about the water management.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We will need to create new systems and resources because we have this much stability. So some places with drought, big drought, and other places with too much rain. So we have floods and all the problems with floods and disease and all of that. So from our communities, even in schools, we can try to create some measures in a small scale. Because as it was said before, if we do it in small scales, then we can recreate in big scales.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Monica ma'am, for your wonderful words. You have given us the costless daily practices to green the world.
Like this was something that that I saw also, Professor, that we can, another thing that motivates people a lot is create competitions where students can develop systems into that. So I would use that in schools and communities and say, oh, whomever creates a system to save water and to use that to irrigate this place can get even a fee, free McDonald's or whatever. This is whatever they think it's supporting them, or a book or a free ride somewhere. So when they can feel motivated to develop and to come up with their ideas. And another thing, and I did that to myself, I can tell you that. I said to my family, let's try to survive 1 month with the minimum of water use pledged by United Nations, okay? The minimum that we for citizens, that they say, from this lower than that,
Excuse me, ma'am.
it's a problem. And I can tell you that we were able to do that. And I had shower every day, but I was saving every drop, every single drop, and creating mechanisms. So I washed the clothes, I collected the water that I washed the clothes, and I used that water to clean the sink, and I was using the water from the bath, and so on. So I think, I believe in human mind, and I believe you can be creative in creating resources. And I also trust the students and kids, and my children were saying, oh, we can do that. Have you thought about that? And I was trying to do that as much as I could. So and there are a lot of issues in terms of flood as well. And
Excuse me, Monica ma'am. It's the time is getting over. So we would like to honor your work by presenting the certificate of honor. Abhishek, please flash Monica ma'am's certificate on the screen.
Yes. Oh,
Monica ma'am, your work is honored by us. Thank you for accepting our invitation and delivering your speech, your ideas, your concepts over here. We are highly obliged to you as you gave us so many ideas to develop the green world. And in that, the best one which I like is seed library. So surely we will think on that line to develop the seed library. Thank you. Thank you very much, Monica ma'am. Thank you. Sunita ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah, please.
Monica ma'am.
Manju, I think, I don't know if I answered, but we don't have one solution. We have to get together with the students and the community and think ahead.
Yes, yes. You did answer all our queries, and best presentation. My work is also on Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, which I'll be presenting tomorrow. So you can see how these goals can be achieved by chanting Bhaktambar Stotra. This was given in United Nations last year. Yeah.
Madam Sunita, you please sum up.
Yes, sir. So it had been interrupted many a times, but yes, it was wonderful listening to Monica. If I go to back down the memory lane of today's session, the few points which are coming to my mind, which we had all of us learn. The chief guest, Dr. Gopan, he shared science of learning. Children should be provided with happy and rewarding environment. Then in the session by Ms. Rania, school health and wellness framework, she talked about overall development and quality of life and dimensions of student well-being. This explanation was given in depth and hence it was very informative. The panel discussion, it was very touching and we all could connect with some aspect or the other of the panel discussion on teenage mind and the emotional issues. It was very effectively brought to us, and the causes and reasons and solutions to behavior of the teenagers, to understand them from their perspective without judging their action was some learning for me. Personal experiences of the panelists touch, and of course the principal ma'am, she shared a few of very practical examples with all of us. We could connect with each of the topic which was discussed in that panel discussion. Mrs. Ram presented her expertise through presentation, challenges, social adjustability, confusion about identity among specially able children. That was also very effective. Then in the session 2, we had a Dr. Sharma who stressed on sensitizing towards wellness of the environment. He also mentioned about consciousness towards environment wellness, sustainable development. How can we take care of environment wellness? That was very well presented. It was followed by the panel discussion where our panelists gave us very effective tips which can be implemented. They are easy. Only the requirement is the willingness to start. And it is our promise, all those audience who were present with all of us will be taking the initiative. And now I'll merge all those points with the last speaker who shared with us that one plantlet or one seed could produce number of seeds. So we had almost about 100 plus participants. Those hundreds are going to multiply definitely. This is going to be like epidemic of environment taking care of the wellness. Now to end up, it's with a reminder that tomorrow we have the sessions. Session 1 will be on social wellness. So I urge each one of you to be present and learn something from that. And this will be followed by a valedictory function where we have a certificate of participation for all the participants. Awards will be announced. That is still not shared with us all. Dr. Surendra will be doing something, and very important thing is the chief guest of tomorrow's function is going to be Shri Nitin Gadkari, who is the Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highway of India. There will be definitely other dignitaries who are must to listen. So I request each one of you to be present tomorrow. The timing is going to be the same from 4 to 8. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow once again. And thank you very much for long hours of sitting, but it is worth spending time on this forum. And once again, I thank you, Dr. Surendra Das, the co-convener, Dr. Yolanda, for planning such a beautiful summit for all of us, and looking forward, like we should have every month something or the other through this forum. This is my request to you, sir, and thank you once again, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Good night to all. Take care.
Take care.